Chapter 211. To go bungee, jumping inside the black Bentley. Zhuge Kongming kept stomping his feet in annoyance, but the woman beside him acted as if she didn't hear anything and closed her eyes to rest. After a long while, Zhuge Kongming realized that the woman beside him was completely ignoring him. Why do you want to take me back? I'm fine here. All right? The woman's eyes were still closed, and her mouth was still closed. The little kid from the Gu family has come knocking on our door, right? I heard that you couldn't beat him. What a disgrace to our Zhuge family. That's because he has helpers. If it's a duel, how are you? The woman opened her eyes with a hint of playfulness. Zhuge Kongming immediately became listless. He might not be able to beat Gu Lu in a one-on-one fight. Humph, you are a disgrace to our Zhuge family. The woman harumphed as a dignified look appeared in her eyes. My Zhuge family is the #1 family in the modern world. How could you let a descendant of the declining Gu family bully you? When you get back, I'll confine you for 3 months. When the time comes, Mom will bring you to beat up the Gu family. That's not very good. Zhuge Kongming chuckled. I don't like fighting and killing. Also, can you not put me in confinement? Oh, right. The girl I'm betrothed to is here. I can't leave. I have to woo her. Give up. The woman's eyes suddenly flashed. The Yellow Emperor has appeared. Yi Zichen sat at the cashier counter and looked at the jade token in his hand, as well as the empty supermarket. The little guy left just like that. Back then, she had always wanted him to leave, but now that he had really left, she still felt a little reluctant. The one who was the saddest was Blackie. With Zhuge Kongming gone, there was no one to nourish his soul. Zhuge Kongming's mother is really young, but she looks quite powerful. Is her family a noble woman's family? After a long while, Yi Zichen shook his head and lit a cigarette for himself, then picked up the jade sigil. The jade talisman was cold to the touch, and there seemed to be a few threads winding around it, especially when that woman had said that this thing could save her life. Although he didn't know how strong that woman was, she definitely didn't look weak. Put it away, put it away. This is a life. In the blink of an eye, 2 days passed quietly. Under the kind killer's teaching, Yi Zichen was a good boy for 2 days and did not miss a single lesson. Another professional lesson ended. Yi Zichen stretched lazily and stood up from his seat. Yi Zichen. Outside the classroom, Xia Kiki hugged Su Yan's arm and waved at him. The news of Yi Zichen flirting with the 2 school beauties had already spread throughout Polytechnic University. Facing the disdainful gazes of everyone in the class, Yi Zichen forced himself to walk over. You two are purposely making me hate you, aren't you? He raised his hand and patted Xia Kik's head. When he saw her, he couldn't help but think of the time they stayed in a hotel together. Why did he choose to be worse than a beast? This is your good fortune, okay? Other people don't even have the chance to hug them left and right. Xia Kiki raised her delicate chin and replied without holding back. Hearing this, Su Yan blushed and knocked Xia Kik's head. Although she'd already tacitly admitted that both of them liked Yi Zichen, she still felt embarrassed to say it out loud like that. You got beaten up, right? Yi Zichen snickered on the side. A hint of gold flashed across Xia Kik's eyes. Yi Zichen could see the silhouette of a golden dragon behind her with the fiery eyes of truth, which was staring at him. Gulp. Yi Zichen gulped. I nearly forgot that this girl has a dragon body. Huh. Seeing Yi Zichen's expression, Xia Kiki frowned and looked up. Oh yeah, Zhuge Kongming got taken away by his mom, right? You even know that? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows and said playfully. Your future daughter-in-law is very concerned about your in-law's family. You all right. Su Yan couldn't help but giggle when she saw the 2 of them bickering. At that moment, Sun Yaij walked over shyly from behind. Su Kiki, class rep. Hearing that, Yi Zichen moved aside a bit. Sun Yaij nodded towards him with a blush. Only then did Xia Kiki smile. Let's go. Only then did Xia Kiki smile. Everyone's here, let's go. Only then did Xia Kiki smile. Where are you going? Yi Zichen looked at the girls in confusion. He had thought that the 2 girls had come to find him, but it didn't seem like it. It's not good for Yaij to always be like this. Susu and I are going to take her bungee jumping. Xiaokiki squinted her eyes. Hearing that, Yi Zichen's heart raced. Bungee jumping, looking for excitement. Yi Zichen glanced at Sun Yaij. He could tell that she was very nervous, but she did not retort. Then why did you guys come to find me? Yi Zichen asked carefully. I have things to do later. Is that so? Xiaokiki put on a doubtful expression and smiled. Zichen Gij can't be scared, right? I thought Zichen Gij isn't scared of anything. Don't provoke me. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes. I really do. Tisk, fine. Isn't it just bungee jumping? I'll go with you guys. Xiaokiki drove an A4, which could fit 4 people. Yi Zichen sat in the front passenger seat while his heart raced. He had only heard people talk about bungee jumping. If he really had to jump from such a high place, aren't the people who play this scared? Xiaokiki, who was driving, peeked at Yi Zichen's face, which was gradually turning nervous. Not long later, she couldn't help but giggle. What are you laughing at? I was thinking about something just now. Yes. My Zichen Gij isn't scared of bungee jumping. We might have to jump later. Zichen Gij, come with us. F***CK. Stop the car. Lousy isn't playing anymore. At Bingqing North Extreme Park, all of the attractions were rather exciting. Yi Zichen stood at the entrance of the park, unwilling to walk in. Zichen, if you're really scared, then just wait for us down there. Suyin also spoke up. Hearing that, Yi Zichen puffed up his chest. I'm scared? I just wanted to rest a bit. Now that I've rested, let's go. Yi Zichen walked forward with his chest puffed up. When Su Yin and company saw him, they couldn't help but shake their heads with a smile and follow. Screams sounded out. Yi Zichen let out a sigh of relief and encouraged himself in his heart. Dong! At that moment, a young man bumped into him. Yi Zichen looked up with a frown. The young man quickly apologized with a coy smile, then hurriedly ran away. What happened? Su Yin and company also walked over. Yi Zichen shook his head, then returned to his empty mode as he listened to the faint screams around him. However, just as he followed Xiaokiki and company towards the bungee jumping area, the young man who bumped into him suddenly stopped, then pressed his finger against his ear. What's wrong? Chapter 2:12. The Yellow Emperor's Best Friend. The target has already boarded the bungee jumping platform. A young man holding a pair of binoculars reported the situation to a Bluetooth earpiece next to the artificial lake on the bungee jumping platform. Boss, the target has boarded the bungee jumping platform. A man held his phone in a room of the clubhouse. After hearing the information from the informant, he walked in front of the man in front of the sofa. So what if he's up? What's there to report to me? Have we swapped everyone up? Yes. Just wait for the chance as long as he jumps. Understood? Understood. Yi Zichen looked down. Yi Zichen stood on top of the bungee jumping platform and peeked down. There should be a man-made lake below. The surface of the lake was calm, but Yi Zichen's heart was in turmoil. He's about to jump? Zichen Gij, go. Xiaokiki cheered him on with her cute face, while Su Yin and Sun Yaij also held each other's hands tightly. Cheer my ass. Sir, the safety situation here has been confirmed. The employee took out a contract from the side with a chuckle. The content of the contract was nothing more than some risk predictions. At the same time, it stated that they would not be responsible for any accidents other than if something went wrong with their facilities. If you're going to jump, then please sign here. Yi Zichen tilted his head and looked at where the girls were. When Xiaokiki felt Yi Zichen's gaze, she quickly made a cheering gesture. Yi Zichen let out a soft sigh, then looked down. I did this to myself. Yi Zichen clenched his teeth, then took the employee's book over and signed it. Are you sure that there are no issues with the safety here? Yi Zichen couldn't help but ask before he jumped. Of course there won't be any issues, the employee replied with certainty. Then let's jump. With that, Yi Zichen closed his eyes, clenched his teeth, and stretched out his leg. Zoom. Wow, Zichen Gij, you're so cool. Xiaokiki exclaimed excitedly. Su Yin and Sun Yaij also looked at Yi Zichen, who was jumping down. At that moment, bang, a slight sound rang out, and the rope that had been connected all this time suddenly broke. Mission completed. The informant near the man-made lake relayed the information through a Bluetooth headset. The communication staff in the club conveyed the news. The man sitting on the sofa chuckled, picked up the wine on the table, and glanced at the opposite side. Tell them to retreat. Understood. The messenger said a few words over the phone, and the man on the sofa also pursed his lips and smiled. Huashao, it looks like it's much easier than I thought. You guys are still the most efficient. Humph, the bodyguard I hired with a high price last time couldn't even protect me. It snorted coldly with a gloomy face. The man sitting on the sofa shrugged non-committally. He's just a cripple. Yes, he's a cripple. Huada's face was as cold as ice. At the same time, he said to the butler behind him, inform the hospital to stop all treatment for that woman. As for that, tell him he's fired. The scene changed to the bungee jumping platform. Yi Zichen, the moment the rope snapped, Su Yin and the others felt their hearts in their throats. Many tourists in the park either took out their phones to record or screamed when they saw this scene. The moment the rope snapped, Xia Keek's hair and eyes also gradually turned golden. Roar! A dragon roar sounded out from all directions, while the silhouette of a golden dragon also flew towards the falling Yi Zichen. Dong! Yi Zichen entered the water. Even though Xia Kiki had already reacted immediately, she was still a bit too slow. Dragon! Dragon! The tourists by the lakeside all shouted in shock. Creak! Xia Kiki, who was on the platform, clenched her fists tightly, while her eyes, which shone with a golden light, continuously scanned the surroundings. However, she noticed that the staff there had already disappeared. Bang! She punched the metal plate with all her might. When her fist came down from the metal plate, a large dent appeared on the metal plate. Su Yin and Sun Yaij, who were on the side, were completely stunned. They looked at Xia Kiki in shock and did not say anything. Zichenji, bang! Xia Kiki fell onto the ground powerlessly and started to cry. If it wasn't for her, history is always shockingly similar. A playful laughter suddenly sounded out in the sky. Not long later, a hole seemed to have been forcefully torn open in the space in front of them, while a white-clothed man with a feather fan walked out. All of a sudden, the world stopped. Everyone froze in their original positions as if time had stopped. Only Xia Kiki could only watch as the man walked over. The man seemed to be walking at a slow pace, but his walking speed was extremely fast. A few afterimages flashed by, and he arrived beside Xia Kiki. He lifted Xia Kiki's chin with his right hand, which was as white as a woman's, and shook his head with a smile. Xiao Yoli, did you do this on purpose? The man smiled, then took half a step back as he looked at Xia Kiki's empty eyes. He stood in the air and looked down at her. Xiao Yoli, this sovereign is asking you a question. You are someone from the three realms. Xia Kiki's eyes flashed with a golden light. She looked at the motionless people around her, then suddenly stood up. Why would someone from the three realms come here? The three realms' immortal region. Serene, who was sitting on top of a prayer mat, suddenly widened his eyes. He raised his hand and pinched his fingers a few times, his expression filled with shock. Fushi. A blur flashed by, and Serene appeared in Fushi's room. Yellow Emperor. I already know. Fushi continued to sit on the stone table and perform eye exercises. What are you doing? The Yellow Emperor's first tribulation has arrived. I know. Fushi continued to perform eye exercises without a care in the world. He only stood up from a stone table when he finished all 4 sections. He stretched lazily, then picked up the water bottle on the table and muttered, I almost forgot to water the Flame Emperor's flowers. I almost forgot to water Emperor Yan's flowers. If he finds out, he will definitely nag at me again. Serene flew into a rage when he saw how nonchalant Fushi was. He snatched the water bottle and angrily threw it on the ground. What are you doing? Fushi's expression darkened. He stared at Serene speechlessly and raised his brows. Why are you always so impatient? Did you not notice that we're missing someone? Only then did Serene notice. Shinong Flame Emperor wasn't here. By the time you realize what's going on, it'll be too late. Brother Flame Emperor left an hour ago. Flame Emperor can help the Yellow Emperor. Father, you should think about how you're going to explain this water bottle to Brother Flame Emperor. It's his most beloved treasure. Fushi glanced at the broken white jade water bottle on the ground. As for your worries, Don't forget that they were best friends back then. Chapter 213. Return. Yellow Emperor. Xiaokiki opened her eyes wide and stared blankly at the ripples on the surface of the lake. You said that Zichengij is the Yellow Emperor? What? Could it be that you haven't awakened yet? The white shirt man squinted his eyes. I saw that you didn't hesitate to call you Xiao Yoli after transforming into a dragon form. I thought you remembered? Xiao Yuli was told to me by someone in my clan. They said that Xiao Yuli is the people of the sacred dragon bloodline truly have a lot of resources. It seems like I have to pay a visit to the 4 sacred beasts when I get the chance. The white shirt man smiled warmly. The white-clothed man smiled warmly, and Xia Kik's hair and eyes gradually dimmed. She had yet to completely accept the dragon soul in her body, and there was a time limit to transforming into a dragon form. You still haven't told me who you are. Xia Kiki stood up from the ground. The white shirt man raised his eyebrows and chuckled. I am the Flame Emperor. Shinong, Flame Emperor. Shock. Xia Kiki never dreamed that she would actually see the Flame Emperor. More importantly, Yi Zichen was actually the reincarnation of the Yellow Emperor. Flame Emperor smiled when he saw Xia Kik's expression, then glanced at the lake. Old friend, you've been through a lot of trouble in this life. At that moment, 3 sonic booms sounded out. 3 elders over 50 years of age appeared on the surface of the lake in front of the bungee jumping platform. Time has stopped. There's an expert. One of the elders, who wore a black robe and a crown like black impermanence, frowned. Could it be that dragon roar just now? The other sage-like elder raised his white eyebrows, then cupped his fist and shouted towards the sky. I wonder which lord has arrived. May I know which lord has arrived? Would you be willing to show yourself? Can't you see me? On the bungee jumping platform, Flame Emperor chuckled softly. At this moment, the 3 elders finally looked over. All of a sudden, the beard of the only one of the elders, who was wearing casual clothes and looked like an old man in a residential area, trembled. Lord Flame Emperor. Someone from the immortal region? Flame Emperor squinted his eyes and smiled. He waved his right hand towards the 3 elders, causing them to fly over shakily. Greetings to Lord Flame Emperor. The 3 elders bowed at the same time. Flame Emperor nodded indifferently and said, The CIRC? Yes. The old man in casual clothes quickly bowed. I wonder why Lord Flame Emperor has come to the modern realm. The one who spoke was the sage-like old man. You belong to the heavenly court? Flame Emperor narrowed his eyes and smiled. Even the 3 pure ones wouldn't dare to speak to me like that. Were you questioning me just now? I wouldn't dare. The sage-like old man hurriedly lowered his head. The dark-faced old man beside him also hurriedly lowered his head. The 3 realms had never been peaceful to begin with, and the 3 of them belonged to 3 factions in the 3 realms. The reason why each side sent one person was because they didn't trust each other. At the same time, they needed spies to pass information to their own side. The Flame Emperor's visit was definitely something big, but from his tone, if this great figure in front of them wanted to silence them. You've seen too much that you shouldn't have. Flame Emperor suddenly spoke. Don't. The people of the heavenly court and the underworld quickly knelt down. Flame Emperor, please spare us. We won't speak carelessly. I don't trust you. With that, Flame Emperor opened his feather fan and waved it towards the 2 old men. Go. Their memories were instantly erased. At the same time, the 2 old men also disappeared from the sky above the lake. Only the old man from the immortal region stayed behind. However, he felt rather proud in his heart. Those 2 old men always made fun of me. I've been taught a lesson by Lord Flame Emperor this time. Lord Flame Emperor, could it be that you are the reincarnation of some great figure of the immortal region for coming here? At this moment, the bottom of the lake suddenly became restless. Brother Yellow Emperor, you always know how to cause trouble. Flame Emperor sighed. The old man, who was already standing on the bungee jumping platform, frowned. That's the Yellow Emperor. Crack! The sound of glass shattering was heard, and a meter-wide pillar of water suddenly appeared on the surface of the lake. Yi Zichen laid on top of it with a pale face and his eyes tightly shut, while the green soul pearl, Yuan, circled around him. More importantly, the still space shattered. Time continued to flow normally once again. The spectators around the lake still had not walked out of the dragon image, but when they looked up, they saw the same scene once again. Soul Pearly Yuan. I didn't think that Brother Yellow Emperor would actually find it in this life. Yellow Emperor shook his head with a smile. Zichen, what's going on? Su Yin and Sun Yaij walked out of the still space and looked forward in shock. Not long later, they saw Flame Emperor and the old man again. They weren't there just now. Su Yin. Flame Emperor squinted his eyes and called out her name. Su Yin raised her eyebrows and looked at the man who appeared out of nowhere. Huh, how do you know me? He didn't wake up either. Flame Emperor shook his head with a smile, then turned around to look at Xia Kiki. Xiao Yoli. Do you want to keep this memory? I owed you a favor back then, so I'll give you a choice this time. Treat it as me returning it to you. I do. Xia Kiki immediately nodded. All right, but remember, you cannot tell anyone about Brother Yellow Emperor, including those of the sacred beast lineage. All right, I promise you. I believe you. With that, Yellow Emperor reached out with his right hand. Return. Whoosh, time and space froze once again. The surrounding images continuously flashed back as if they were being replayed. Then, time returned to the moment when Yi Zichen stood on the jumping platform. Xiao Yoli, I hope we can meet again soon. Flame Emperor smiled towards Xia Kiki, then set his gaze back on his Su Yin. However, the moment he looked towards Sun Yaij, he suddenly frowned. Crack! A faint sound of glass shattering could be heard. Flame Emperor looked at Sun Yaij a few more times, then grabbed the old man beside him and left. Crack! Time and space froze and shattered. The target has already stepped onto the bungee jumping platform. The messenger by the lake sent a message through his Bluetooth earpiece. At the same time, Yi Zichen had already put on the bungee jumping safety equipment, while many images appeared in his mind. I seem to have jumped just now. What's going on? Delusional disorder? I'm too stupid, right? I'm King going to jump. Sir, the safety situation here has been confirmed. Everything was exactly the same as before. Zichen Gij. Xia Kiki suddenly called out. Hearing that, Yi Zichen instantly discarded the images in his mind and said speechlessly, Don't rush me. Isn't it just jumping? Watch. I'll give you guys an example right now. Chapter 214. Wei Chun Xia Kiki pushed with a lot of force, causing the staff member to nearly be pushed into the man-made lake. Beauty, have you gone crazy? Xia Kiki frowned, while a faint golden light flashed across her eyes. After what happened just now, Xia Kiki did not have a good impression of the staff member at all. I was already very merciful of not pushing you down just now. Could it be that you want to take a bath down there? The golden light in Xia Kiki's eyes shone brightly, causing the staff member to fall onto the floor. At the same time, Yi Zichen also pulled Xia Kiki. Kiki, are you all right? Why did Kiki suddenly get so angry? Could it be that her period came? Then it came really quickly. She was fine just now. I'm fine. Hee, Zichen Gij, we're not bungee jumping. Xia Kiki glared fiercely at the staff member, then turned around and hugged Yi Zichen's shoulders, then used the crudest method to remove all of the equipment from the ceiling. Bungee jumping is too dangerous. Let's go back. At the same time, near the man-made lake. What the hell? Why did I dream again? A young man with a permed head, who was around 7 meters tall and wore a black frame with a shut-in face, rubbed his head. Someone clearly fell into the water just now, and then a King pillar of water suddenly sprayed him up. There was also a bunch of onlookers. Why did they disappear? The permed head young man scratched his face, then looked towards the bungee jumping platform. Why is that person still standing there? Did something happen to him? CK. What the hell is going on? Never mind. Coming out truly doesn't suit me. I'll go back and play games. With that, the permed head young man shook his head and left the vicinity of the man-made lake. You're not jumping anymore? Yi Zichen was stunned, then immediately became overjoyed. He really didn't want to jump on this crappy thing. He was scared just by looking at it, but he still jumped down. Wasn't that sick? However, when he considered Xia Kik's personality, she might use the chance to mock him. Stop trying to trick me. Isn't it just bungee jumping? If you say jump, then jump. Not jumping, we're not jumping. Xia Kiki forcefully pulled Yi Zichen down. Su Yin and Sun Yaij also looked at this scene in confusion. Yaij, I think this is a problem with your personality. We still have to think about it at length. All right. Sun Yaij had a timid personality and did not know how to refute. When Xia Kiki suggested bungee jumping in the dorm, she didn't object. Now that she said she wouldn't jump, she didn't refute. To be honest, she didn't dare to jump. It would be better if she didn't. Just like that, the few of them retreated after a short while as if they were just sightseeing. Boss, the situation has changed. The target didn't choose to bungee jump. They left the extreme park. The young man who had been observing Yi Zichen through binoculars reported. The man in the room frowned, while Hua De, who sat opposite him, raised his eyebrows. Mr. Wei, what's wrong? Mr. Hua, the situation has changed. The man with a scar at the corner of his eye raised an eyebrow. The target has left the extreme paradise. Da's expression changed as he sneered. Mr. Wei, I really don't know how we can continue working together. Don't tell me that your place can't even handle an ordinary person. It's fine if it's you, but what did you promise me back then? Is Mr. Hua questioning me? The scarred man's expression also turned cold. Although you are a financial backer, don't think too highly of yourself. If it wasn't for your family being rich, do you think that you guys would be able to come in contact with us? It's just a small family clan. Wei Chun, say it again if you dare. Wei Chun raised his right eyebrow. In an instant, two men appeared behind Hua De and the old butler and pressed down on their shoulders. Hua Da's expression darkened. A light flashed across the butler's eyes as he quickly smiled apologetically. Mr. Wei, our family's young master has no intentions of doubting you. We understand that the people from your place have rules when they act, but that brat is too cocky, our young master. What does it have to do with me whether you guys are in a hurry or not? You fail this time, wait for the next chance. Of course, I'd be happy to see you guys deal with it yourselves. All right, I'm tired. Let's talk next time. Wei Chun snorted in disdain, then stood up from the sofa and left the room. Bang! Hua De forcefully smashed the glass coffee table in front of him. His eyes were filled with darkness as he stared at the tightly shut door. What the F***CK are you pretending for? Young master, we can't afford to offend the people from that place. The butler walked out with a light smile and took out a piece of gauze to wrap around Hua Da's hand. However, even if our Hua family doesn't rely on that place, we can still make that brat's life a living hell. I'll let you arrange everything. I must make that brat's life a living hell. Also, is there any news from Xiao Yumei's side? The third miss of the Xiao family seems to be preparing to set up a medical company. Tell the manager to suppress it and have Xiao Yumei beg me. Understood. Then, Mr. Wei, I'll let you arrange it as well. Mother of Kerr, what the hell? Isn't he just a rich businessman? Does he really think he's some big shot? Wei Chen's eyes were filled with disdain as he glanced at the lackey beside him. Give me a piece of chewing gum. At that moment, time and space suddenly stopped. He looked at the frozen lackey in shock, then looked up and saw an old man from a residential area and a white-robed man holding a feather fan appear in front of him. You guys, don't be nervous. We don't have any ill intentions. Let's go, I want to chat with you. Yi Zichen grabbed Wei Chun, causing the frozen time and space in the surroundings to return to normal. Boss, here's a piece of chewing gum for you. Boss, where's boss? Zichen Gidge, I'll be sending you here. Xia Kiki waved towards Yi Zichen with a giggle, then turned the car around and slowly disappeared from his sight. Yi Zichen scratched his head as he stood under the dormitory. What is this? Is this a vacation? King came back after an extreme park. However, what made him even more speechless was his brain. He would always have some weird dreams in the past 2 days, and some of those dreams could even be connected to each other. In the scenes, he seemed to be a general, wearing armor and looking very majestic. There would always be a woman standing beside him, a woman who was ridiculously beautiful. That woman never spoke and merely stared at him. It was as if he was her everything. but I've never seen the woman's face clearly. Could it be that I really have a paranoia? Buzz. Just as Ezichin was silently guessing, the phone in his pocket rang. Ezichin took out his phone and couldn't help but smile when he saw the caller ID. Chapter 215. Flame Emperor's arrangements in an ordinary house with vegetables planted in the courtyard. 3 people sat around a square table under a pavilion covered in vines in front of the brick house. Who are you? I'm going to sue you for kidnapping. Wei Chun sat steadily on the chair, but his expression was twisted as if he wanted to move, but he couldn't. Of course we have something to talk to you about, but not now. Let's wait. Not everyone is here yet. The Flame Emperor, who was holding a feather fan, smiled. At this moment, an old man in casual clothes walked over with a pot of tea and placed it on the table. Sir, this is the modern world's Long Jing. Try it. The people of the 3 realms say that the modern world is an abandoned land, but no one expected that after so long, not only did the modern world not become an abandoned land, but it developed into this. Flame Emperor pursed his lips and smiled, then raised his teacup. After taking a sip, he raised his eyebrows. Not bad. It's mellow and a little bitter. What is this? The old man's face bloomed with joy when he heard Flame Emperor's praise. The modern world calls it tea. Not bad, not bad. Flame Emperor smiled and took another sip, then closed his eyes and enjoyed it. If you like it, Flame Emperor, can you bring some back? Before the old man finished speaking, Yindi raised his head and said with a bitter smile in his eyes, Have you forgotten the rules? You can't bring things from the modern world to the 3 realms. The old man hurriedly lowered his head. Bringing things from the modern world to the 3 realms was indeed a big taboo. He was so focused on sucking up to Flame Emperor that he forgot about it. Let's take this opportunity to drink a few more sips. Emperor Yin smiled and raised the teacup again. At that moment, Wei Chin's nose twitched and he shouted, Hurry up and undo the body lock technique on me. I'm thirsty. Give me a cup too. How can you speak to Flame Emperor like that? The old man glared at him, and a terrifying pressure spread out from his body. Wei Chin's pupils twitched as he stared at the old man in a daze. You're not from the modern world. Who are you? This is Flame Emperor from the 3 realms, immortal region. Emperor, Yen. Wei Chin stared at Flame Emperor, who was still leisurely sipping his tea. In an instant, his forehead and back were covered in cold sweat. Lord Flame Emperor, this lowly one, don't be nervous. The Flame Emperor chuckled and placed the teacup on the square table. I can tell that you're not from the other 2 regions. You're also a rogue immortal, right? Yes. Wei Chin nodded vigorously. At this moment, creak. The wooden door creaked as it was pushed open, and Xia Kiki walked in with a frown. You've come. The corners of the Flame Emperor's lips curled up slightly. An indescribable look flashed across Yendi's eyes as he watched Xia Kiki slowly walk towards them. Didn't you ask me to come? Xia Kiki pouted as she walked over. When she saw Wei Chun, Who is he? Don't be too rash. The Flame Emperor chuckled. He's the one who set Brother Yellow Emperor up. Bang. A surging aura was released from Xia Kiki's body, and the stone floor beneath her feet began to crack. It's you. Xia Kiki grabbed Wei Chin's collar and raised her fist to smash him. Xia Yoli. The Flame Emperor frowned. Xia Kiki angrily let go of Wei Chin's collar. Why did you call me here? Also, don't always call me Xia Yoli. I'm Xia Kiki. A few lives of reincarnation still can't wear down your temper. The Flame Emperor shook his head and chuckled. Of course I have a reason for calling you here. Brother Yellow Emperor's tribulation has begun, so he'll have even more tribulations waiting for him in the future. I can't always be here to protect him, so I can only give him a chance. As he chuckled, he lifted his hand and released Wei Chun from his restraints. How about you make him your lackey? Wei Chin's expression immediately became extremely strange. He was a reputable figure in the circle, but this F***er made him a lackey with just a few words. And to a little girl at that. But then again, this little girl was truly fierce. She didn't look particularly strong, but her aura was definitely there. Him? Xia Kiki squinted her eyes and snorted. He already did that to Zichen Gidge, and I want him to be my lackey? He didn't mean it, but he actually helped Brother Yellow Emperor by doing that. Xia Kiki revealed a look of confusion. The Flame Emperor smiled. Brother Yellow Emperor has reincarnated 9 times. Brother Yellow Emperor, you've been reincarnated 9 times. Each reincarnation will seal the memories of one life. However, the memories of each life will be unlocked when a tribulation appears. In other words, Brother Yellow Emperor is gradually awakening. Can I say something? Wei Chun was shocked. The Yellow Emperor you guys are talking about, is it Yi Zichen? That's him. Xia Kiki glared at him fiercely. Hearing that, Wei Chen's face instantly turned pale. Yellow Emperor. He was actually plotting to kill the Yellow Emperor. Flame Emperor merely smiled, then turned to Xia Kiki. As Xia Liuli's reincarnation, I can tell that you have a rather strong ability to accept things. I feel like it's pretty good for you to be Brother Yellow Emperor's protective talisman. What do you think? I think it's pretty good to let you be Brother Yellow Emperor's protective talisman. What do you think? Xia Kiki raised her chin. Flame Emperor nodded towards Wei Chan with a smile. What do you think? I'll be. Wei Chan nodded. Being able to be the lackey of a woman by the Yellow Emperor's side is definitely something to brag about. And you, Flame Emperor, turned his gaze towards the old man. You saw Brother Yellow Emperor's reincarnation, so you have to help him out often. And you, Flame Emperor, turned to look at the old man beside him. You've seen Brother Yellow Emperor's reincarnation. You should help him often in the future. And you, Flame Emperor, turned his gaze towards the old man. You saw Brother Yellow Emperor's reincarnation, so you have to help him out often. Understood. The old man quickly nodded. Then that's that. That's all I can do. I'll leave the rest of you guys. Flame Emperor stood up from the chair and bowed towards the 3 people. Aside from Xia Kiki, the other 2 quickly returned the bow. It's getting late. I'm going back to the 3 realms. Lord Flame Emperor isn't staying a bit longer? The old man asked. It was very rare for someone of his level to meet someone like Flame Emperor. No, Flame Emperor shook his head, then looked longingly at the teapot on the table. Although the heavenly court and the underworld don't pay much attention to the modern realm, they will pay attention to my location. If they find out, it'll be bad for Brother Yellow Emperor. With that, the Flame Emperor looked towards Xia Kiki's position. Right. What's the relationship between the girl standing next to Su Yin and Brother Yellow Emperor? Are you talking about Yaij? Xia Kiki blinked. He's Zichengij's classmate. We're roommates. Then he and Brother Yellow Emperor aren't in a relationship, right? I don't know about that. Xia Kiki twitched her mouth. That playboy Yi Zichen, who knows if the 2 of them have anything to do with each other? What's wrong? Why are you asking me this? Just asking. Emperor Yin chuckled and cupped his hands at the 3 people in the courtyard. We'll meet again if fate allows it. Chapter 216. The God of Cookery You. In him, the Flame Emperor turned around and glanced at Xia Kiki, then smiled. You will know everything in the future. It's still too early now. All right, some people might come looking for Brother Yellow Emperor in the near future, so I'll leave everything to you. Raising his hand and waving at the 3 people in the courtyard, Emperor Yin leaped and disappeared from this world. What? TSK. Xia Kiki stuck out her tongue unhappily, then looked towards Wei Chun. Hey, Scarface. Wei Chen's face darkened, but he still lowered his head and walked to her side. Let me tell you, don't think that you can follow me just because that guy asked you to. I've always remembered what you did to Zichengij. If I knew that Yi Zichen was the reincarnation of the Yellow Emperor, I wouldn't dare to do it even if you beat me to death. Besides, it didn't work either. Wei Chun had a wronged expression. Xia Kiki's eyes suddenly flashed with a golden light as she glanced at him. I don't want to talk so much with you. Protect Zichengij properly in the future. Understood. Wei Chun, who had been bullied, returned to the base. His subordinates in the room immediately welcomed him with joy. Boss, where did you go just now? Our informant just sent another message, saying that the target has appeared. Should we make a move? Pa Wei-Chun slapped his lackey's head and cursed. From today onwards, no one is allowed to threaten Yi Zichen in any way. We'll still follow them in secret, but what we have to do is protect them, understand? What? If you don't dare to enter, then scram. Wei Chen raised his leg and kicked his lackeys, but after everyone in the room left, he leaned weakly on the sofa and cursed in a low voice. Mother asterisk her. What the F asterisk CK is this? You said you've been having strange dreams recently. Huang Xingmei sat on the sofa with a cup of water in her hand. Yi Zichen sat opposite her and nodded as if he was a patient being consulted. That's right, the dreams I've been having lately are all connected. Especially, sometimes, even during the day, I would have those kinds of dreams for no reason. Huang Xingmei placed the cup on the tea table, then raised her hand to touch Yi Zichen's forehead. You must be under too much pressure recently. That's why your imagination is running wild. As the saying goes, what you think in the day, what you dream at night. You have wild thoughts in the day, so it's understandable that you dream at night. Are you sure? Yi Zichen asked in confusion. The dream I had last night was very special. How about this? You come with me to the hospital later, and I'll give you a 24-hour electrocardiogram. The thing with wires all over its body and head. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. Yes. Huang Xingmei nodded. I'm not a psychiatrist, so it's hard for me to tell what's going on. Yi Zichen's expression darkened, and he shook his head. Forget it then. I'm afraid that even the electricity will shock me. Yi Zichen ate a few grapes, then placed his hands behind his head. Why are you looking for me? I almost forgot if you didn't mention it. I was promoted. Huang Xingmei's face lit up. She smiled and said, I became an attending physician this morning. Oh, then congratulations. Yi Zichen also raised his eyebrows with a smile. Yi Zichen also raised his eyebrows and smiled. It seemed like Gramps Dang Chung remembered what he said that night. He really did arrange the position of attending physician for Huang Xingmei. However, he also understood that Huang Xingmei was able to become an attending physician due to her own abilities. He merely helped her along the way. If she didn't have that diamond drill, then it would be very hard for Gramps Dang Chung to let her go up with his personality. Elder Dang also told me that you did a lot of work for this and told me to thank you. Who are we? Why are you being so courteous? Hearing Yi Zichen's reply, Huang Xingmei blushed ding-dong. Your affability level with Huang Xingmei increased by 10. Current affability level, 590. Yi Zichen didn't really care about the continuous increase of Huang Xingmei's affability level. At this moment, Huang Xingmei stood up from the sofa with a smile. Sit here for a bit, or go to Lil Yi's bedroom and chat with him for a bit. I'll go and make something delicious for the two of you. Never mind, that brat is so focused when he's playing games. It would be weird if he could pay attention to me. I'll just go with you. I can even help you out or something. You know how to cook? Huang Xingmei revealed a look of doubt. However, Yi Zichen merely smiled in response. It must be said that he was practically burning the house when he cooked before, but now. He clicked open the WeChat treasure chest on his phone. Extract the God of Food's cooking experience. Learn. All of a sudden, Yi Zichen felt as if he was suddenly enlightened, while a bunch of cooking knowledge suddenly appeared in his mind. I'll show you what a God of cooking is. After absorbing the God of Food's cooking experience, Yi Zichen proudly walked into the kitchen. Huang Xingmei followed him with a look of confusion. However, the moment she stepped into the kitchen, she saw that Yi Zichen had already started to get busy. She went from disbelief at the start to shock. Ignoring everything else, just his chopping skills were already at the level of a star chef, right? Originally, she wanted to be the head chef, but when she saw Yi Zichen's expression, she decided to just stand quietly at the entrance of the kitchen and look at his handsome appearance. Men who can cook are also handsome. Ding dong. Your affability level with Huang Xingmei increased by 10. Current affability level, 600. Yi Zichen's hand trembled the moment he received the notification. A scream sounded out from the kitchen. At the dining table, Yi Zichen had a band-aid on his left index finger. Huang Xingmei's affability level increased too suddenly, just now, causing him to injure his hand when he was caught off guard. Despite that, he still managed to make 4 dishes and a soup that tasted good, and even carve a flower for the last dish. Sis, you made these dishes? Huang Yi, who had just finished a game, walked out of the bedroom. He was stunned for a moment when he saw the dishes on the table that were like pieces of art, then looked at Huang Xingmei in confusion. Why are you looking at me like that? Did I not do it well before? Huang Xingmei rolled her eyes. When she saw Huang Yi's coy smile, she looked at Yi Zichen with a look of pity. Your Zichen Ji made it. Your Zichen Ji's hand got injured in order to make this meal. Yi Zichen couldn't help but smile at the loving gaze. Stop blanking out. Hurry up and eat. Have a taste of your Zichen Ji's cooking. The meal made by Yi Zichen, who had the abilities of the god of food, was even more delicious than those made by a star chef. Even Huang Xingmei burped after eating without caring about her image. Yi Zichen smiled as he looked at the siblings who praised him endlessly, then took out the fruit platter that he had already prepared. No way, I really can't eat anymore. He clutched his stomach as he sat on the sofa. Although he couldn't help but want to take a few bites when he saw the exquisite fruit platter, his stomach had a limit, and he didn't have enough space. He burped again, then leaned back on the sofa and raised his eyebrows. Chapter 217. Was it a man or a ghost? Ding dong. Yi Zichen wore a baseball cap, which he intentionally lowered as he stood outside Jingwan's base. To be honest, awkwardness was the epitome. His house was right across the base. In order not to be discovered by Yi Rong, he had to act like a thief. Sister Jingwan, someone is pressing the doorbell. I'll go open the door. Di Xinping glanced at Jingwan, who was sitting on the sofa and frowning. He raised his head and glanced outside the villa. Wear a hat. Thinking of what happened during the live broadcast, she hurriedly stopped Di Xinping. Don't go. What happened? Di Xinping scratched his head. Jingwan bit her lips and said, Forget it. Go and open the door. I'll go upstairs. If that person is looking for me, tell him I'm not here. Di Xinping ran upstairs in his slippers and scratched his head in confusion. What was going on? Ding dong. Ding dong. The more anxious he was, the more he refused to open the door. Yi Zichen pressed the doorbell for a long time, but no one came out from the mansion. Big brother Yi, is there no one around? Huang Yi stood outside the door and looked at the base that did not respond. He could not help but raise his eyebrows. Since no one came to open the door after so long, even Yi Zichen started to suspect that the base was empty. Creak! The door of the villa opened, and Di Xinping staggered to the door. Who is it? Who do you think I am? Open the door. Yi Zichen took off his hat, then quickly put it back on. When Di Xinping saw him, a hint of stubbornness appeared on his young face. Yi Zichen, why did you come? Cut the crap and open the door. Yi Zichen continuously urged him. Di Xinping hesitated for a moment, then opened the door. After entering the mansion, Yi Zichen took off his hat, then sat on the sofa and fanned himself. Where is Jingwan? No. Di Xinping did not give him face. This little fellow really held a grudge. Yi Zichen had beaten him up back then, and even stole his goddess. She would get angry whenever she saw him. I've been practicing hero for a long time recently. Do you dare to solo me again? This time, I won't lose to you. Yi Zichen looked up at the little fellow's stubborn face and shrugged helplessly. Even if he practiced for a lifetime, he might not be able to beat him. In order to not hurt the child's pride, Yi Zichen glanced at Huang Yi, who was looking around in the mansion. You can fight him. Only then did Di Xinping turn his attention back to Huang Yi. He had been too focused on arguing with Yi Zichen to notice Huang Yi. Can he? A hint of disdain appeared at the corner of his lips. No matter what, he was still the king of lightning. Don't be too arrogant. There are plenty of people stronger than you. Yi Zichen stood up from the sofa and patted Huang Yi's shoulder. This brat wants to solo you. Beat him up. Is that okay? Anyone who could be in this villa should be a permanent member of the base. He hadn't even joined the team yet and was playing a solo match with his teammates. If he won, he would lose the other party's face. If he lost, he would lose face. Don't think too much. Just solo him until he's convinced. No problem. Even his most trusted big brother Yi said so. Then do it. At this moment, Di Xinping also hooked his finger, then the two of them went to solo. When Jingwan, who was on the second floor, heard the commotion downstairs, she felt that it wasn't the person she was worried about. She stood at the top of the stairs and looked down. When she saw that it was Yi Zichen, her eyes lit up, then she ran down in her slippers. Yi Zichen, Didn't that brat, Di Xinping, say that you weren't here? Yi Zichen was about to leave. He couldn't help but be shocked when he saw Jingwan walk over. This damn brat actually dared to lie to me. No, I told him to say that. Jingwan smiled wryly. When she saw Yi Zichen's attire at the door, she thought that he was that crazy fan from her livestream. Not long later, Di Xinpeng's angry roar sounded out. She turned around and noticed Huang Yi. That one. Him? He's the top laner I found for you. Yi Zichen pursed his lips with a smile. Yi Zichen pursed his lips and smiled. Didn't I take that girl Xia Kiki away? I was afraid that you lacked people, so I found you another one. I'm telling you, he's much stronger than that little girl, Xia Kiki. About this, Jingwan's face instantly lit up. Then she lowered her head and bit her lips. I really don't know how to thank you. She was still brooding over Di Xinpeng's misunderstanding from before. She didn't think that Yi Zichen would send her a top laner so quickly. What's there to thank me for? I also hope that you can form a super strong team and bring the World Champion trophy to our country. If that's really the case, then I feel like you can't be lacking in the team. Jingwan's eyes flashed with a strange light. If it's really like that, then I feel like you're indispensable in the team. Jingwan's eyes flashed with a strange light. Can you stop thinking about me all the time? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows and smiled wryly. This girl was truly persistent enough. Who told you to be amazing? Jingwan smiled. At that moment, a sneaky man suddenly appeared at the entrance of the base. Jingwan's expression changed the moment she saw the man. Yi Zichen followed her gaze and looked over. His disguise was pretty much the same as his. He looked like a thief. What's more, that sneaky look was very suspicious, causing Yi Zichen to look at him a few more times. Ding dong. The doorbell rang. Jingwan, who was in the room, was like a startled deer. Her entire face turned ashen, while she continuously rubbed the corner of her clothes with her fingers and bit her lips. He's here, he's really here. What do you mean he's here or not? What the hell are you talking about? Someone is ringing the doorbell. Aren't you going to open the door? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows and rolled his eyes speechlessly at Jingwan, who was stunned on the spot. You don't treat a guest at all. You even made me, the guest, go and open the door. Yi Zichen twisted his neck, then walked towards the entrance of the mansion. At that moment, Jingwan also came back to her senses. She wanted to stop him, but it was already too late. What do you do? Yi Zichen stood at the entrance of the mansion and looked at the young man in black glasses, who was about the same height as him, standing outside the metal gate. This otaku look made Yi Zichen think about what Jingwan muttered just now. He can't be your crazy fan, right? The young man in glasses was also shocked when he saw Yi Zichen. He raised his hand to push against the frame of his glasses, while his throat bobbed up and down. Did you bungee jump at Extreme Park a few hours ago? This time, it was Yi Zichen's turn to be shocked. He glanced at the young man and raised his eyebrows. How did you know? You can't be my fan, right? You followed me. It really is you. The young man outside the door was shocked, then stumbled back a few steps as if he had seen a ghost. Chapter 218. Died the glasses young man spoke as if it was the truth, especially his body movements and his sparkling gaze. Are you King crazy? Yi Zichen stood in the mansion and cursed angrily. Is this brat retarded? He just said that I died. Is there something wrong with his brain? If other people heard this, then he would be lucky if they didn't beat him to death. Who's crazy? I clearly saw you fall into the lake when you were bungee jumping. The glasses young man stood a meter away and cursed. Hearing that, Yi Zichen was stunned. He looked at the glasses young man in shock. Seeing that Yi Zichen didn't say anything, the glasses young man's face instantly turned pale from fright. You really are a ghost. Aren't ghosts afraid of light? Oh yeah, cross my cross. With that, the bespectacled young man really did take out a silver cross frame that was a few centimeters long from his pocket and stabbed it randomly at Yi Zichen. You came from the Azure Dragon Deity Mental Hospital, right? Yi Zichen was speechless. He put his hands on his waist and looked at the young man outside. After a long while, the young man couldn't help but gulp when he saw that the silver cross did not cause any actual damage to him. You're not a ghost. How could Lousy be a ghost? Have you seen a ghost with such a healthy complexion like Lousy? Yi Zichen rolled his eyes. The young man looked him up and down cautiously. He really didn't look like a ghost. Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me recently, but I keep having some weird dreams. I would see a lot of weird things when I go out, so I... The glasses young man stuttered for a long time before saying anything. Yi Zichen let out a soft sigh and looked at the young man. Yi Zichen sighed and looked at the young man. What did you come here for? Buzz. The phone in Yi Zichen's pocket rang. He looked at the caller ID, then subconsciously looked towards the mansion's window. Jing Wan stood at the window and indicated for him to pick up the call, then put the phone by her ear. Can you help me chase away the person outside? What's wrong with him? Jing Wan told Yi Zichen everything that happened during her live stream. After hearing that, Yi Zichen made a don't worry gesture towards her, then put his phone back into his pocket. Brat, what did you come here for? I'm looking for Jing Wan. The young man's face instantly lit up with excitement. During the live broadcast, Jing Wan had inadvertently revealed her location. Using his otaku computer skills, he found her location. With a heart full of excitement, he rushed over without saying a word. Jing Wan? Yi Zichen put on a confused expression. Who's Jing Wan? This is my house. You came to the wrong place. Impossible. Jing Wan is here. The young man in glasses was certain. He had checked Jing Wan's IP address, and it was here. Little bro, don't act up with me here. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes. I didn't even want to pay attention to you when you tried to mess with me just now. If you dare to mess with me again, believe it or not, I will slap you. Jing Wan is here. Don't try to lie to me. It was Jing Wan who called you just now, right? What's your relationship with Jing Wan? The goddess is actually living with a man. The glasses-wearing young man's face turned bright red. If looks could kill, then Yi Zichen might have died several times already. You? I said Jing Wan isn't here. This is my house. Can you stop messing around? Otherwise, I'm going to call the police. What right do you have to say that this is your house? Crazy. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes. At that moment, a white poodle led a group of lackeys and passed by the entrance of the base like a leader inspecting. The moment the poodle saw Yi Zichen, it immediately ran over with its tongue out. Yi Zichen's eyes also brightened when he saw Lil White. Lil White bite him. Huang, Ian D. Xinpeng's solo ended in a tie. Jing Wan's eyes turned into crescents as she gained another powerful player. Welcome to the big family. After signing the contract, Jing Wan reached out her hand with a smile. Huang, he stood on the side in shock and did not dare to reach out his hand. Why? As the #1 gaming streamer, Jing Wan's fame and fan value were rather high. Huang, he was one of her fans. He did not expect the boss of the team to be his idol, who had been watching live broadcasts for several years. One could imagine how he felt. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes speechlessly, then said, What's wrong with Jing Wan? What are you waiting for? It's just a handshake. Without even thinking about it, Yi Zichen reached out. This child is shy, so I'll shake it for him. Jing Wan smiled, then looked at Yi Zichen, who was smiling brightly with a complicated gaze. This man, time and time again, attacked her ideals. Yet, he helped her realize her dreams time and time again. A strange emotion that he had never felt before grew and spread rapidly, as if he had eaten a catalyst. After a long time, she suppressed the strange feeling in her heart and spoke in a normal tone with a smile. Are you sure you don't want a name in the team? If you were here, the championship would be within reach. Forget it. You should know that my ambition doesn't lie here. Yi Zichen shrugged with a smile, then glanced at Huang Yi, who was blushing. I'll leave my little bro to you. Treat him well. Of course. Jing Wan replied, non-committally. Yi Zichen nodded slightly, then reminded Huang Yi a few more things, then looked at the time. Since everyone in the team is here, I won't disturb your team's training anymore. Oh yeah, there's something I want to tell you. Yi Zichen glanced at Jing Wan. Be careful when you stream in the future. How about you just hire 2 bodyguards? I feel like that brat might come again. I know, it was indeed my negligence. I'll apologize to the fans the next time I stream. Then, that's it. Yi Zichen left the mansion after refusing to see him off. The moment he walked out, he saw Lil White waiting for him at the entrance. Don't look at how Lil White looked like a poodle. It was very fierce. This little thing was truly fierce. Just earlier, this little fellow had chased the glasses-wearing young man for several streets. Boss, the moment it saw Yi Zichen, Lil White ran over with a look of flattery. However, the moment it got close to Yi Zichen, a hint of seriousness appeared in the weird puppy's eyes, then a green light swept across Yi Zichen's body. F***CK, be careful when you're outside. Yi Zichen quickly looked around. If outsiders saw this, then he and Lil White would be captured and used as test subjects. Boss! Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows in confusion. This low tone was not like the Lil White he knew. Lil White looked at him with a solemn expression. Yi Zichen felt a bit uncomfortable being stared at by this little thing. What do you want to say? After a long while, Lil White finally looked up and stared straight into Yi Zichen's eyes. Chapter 219. 219 Chong, Yi's affability level dong. Yi Zichen kicked Lil White to the side. Why is this little thing finding trouble with me? Boss, you hit me again. Whitey's face was full of grievance, and its pair of puppy eyes looked pitiful. Don't you know why I hit you? Yi Zichen rolled his eyes. I'm standing here perfectly fine, and you're telling me that I'm dead. Are you talking to a ghost? I didn't lie to you. Lil White wagged his tail and circled around Yi Zichen. There's a lot of death aura around you. This is indeed a situation that would only happen if you died. I used my scanning eyes and saw that you did die a few hours ago. You still dare to say... Yi Zichen pretended to hit him, but Lil White immediately ran away. Late at night, when a midnight bell rang, Yi Zichen laid on the bed and looked at the ceiling in a daze. He did not react for a long time. Did I really die? Lil White said it so confidently. That crazy fan of Jing one also said that he saw me die. What's more, he thought that he was just imagining things, but he still thought of death. Yi Zichen raised his hand in confusion. His hand was still warm, and there was still a shadow on his body when the sun shone on him. Why did I die? What are you doing? You don't seem to be in a good mood. Lu Jing floated out of the dragon eye. Yi Zichen turned around with a smile and looked into her eyes. Some strange things happened today. Then Yi Zichen told Lu Jing about Lil White, the young man in glasses, and his daydream. Lu Jing blinked after hearing that, then said after a moment of thought, Are you alive? Then you're alive right now, right? Of course. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes in annoyance. Hearing that, Lu Jing shrugged. That's good. Since you're alive, why think so much? If you can't figure out, then don't think about it. It's just adding to your worries. As the saying goes, those who are closely involved can't see clearly. Lu Jing's words instantly woke Yi Zichen up. That's right. Why think so much? I'm alive right now. It seems like this lady's advice was very successful. Then please lend me your phone. Yi Zichen's expression darkened. Seeing that, Lu Jing pouted, Hurry up, I want to follow. You're really drifting away from the path of a Fujoshi. I'm willing. Yi Zi, you've been coming to school quite frequently recently, unlike you. Zhang Rue hooked his arm around Yi Zichen's shoulder and walked towards the dorm. How can I not be? The gentle assassin gave me an ultimatum. If I don't come to class, you should know the consequences at the mention of the gentle female killer. Zhang Rue couldn't help but shrink his neck. My condolences. Regarding this, Zhang Rue had nothing to say. The power of the gentle female assassin was obvious to the entire department, and even the entire science and technology department. When he returned to the dormitory, the other three of his roommates were already prepared. Yizi Rue, hurry up and get on the bus. The old driver is getting ready to drive. Kong Peng waved towards the two of them. Yi Zichen nodded, then turned on his computer. At this moment, the phone on the computer table rang. Ding dong, ding dong. Yi Zichen picked up his phone and saw that Chong, he had sent him a message. You guys drive first, I'll get on the car later. With that, Yi Zichen ran onto his bed amidst the complaints of his roommates. Chong, Yi's fan chat was clearly different. Yi Zichen glanced at the message. Chong, Yi, Sky Sovereign, are you there? Chong Yi, I finished all the spicy gluten you sent me last time. Yi Zichen was shocked. Those were spicy gluten that cost several hundred yuan. How long has it been? She finished it all? Fairy, you ate your spicy gluten too quickly, right? Even though the other party was Chong, Yi Zichen couldn't help but retort. Within the Moon Palace, Chong Yi, who was holding her phone, blushed when she saw the message Yi Zichen sent her. She just liked to eat it, so what could she do? Actually, there's still some left. Chong wanted to say something but stopped. Yi Zichen sighed helplessly. All right, this sovereign will send it to you later. Thank you, Sky Sovereign. Ding dong. Your intimacy level with Chong increased by 100. Current intimacy level, 300. Ding dong. Your affability level with Chong increased by 15. Current affability level, 15. F***CK affability level appeared. Normally speaking, affability level. This Chong, he can't have taken a liking to me, right? Yi Zichen opened his eyes wide while his heart raced. After thinking about it, he quickly went to ask Yulao. Yulao, who was busy playing landlord in the heavenly court, picked up his phone and looked at the message. Sky Sovereign, do you have time? I have something I want to ask you. About this, Yulao glanced at Old Lord Taishang and Erling Shun. Yulao, it's your turn to play. Hurry up. Are you going to run after winning? Old Lord Taishang glared at him. This old lord really doesn't have enough brains. I've played landlord so many times, but I've only won a few rounds. Sky Sovereign, it's not very convenient. Then, Yulao slapped the cards on the table. I think you don't want to stock up anymore, right? Did he really think that he was asking for my opinion just now? Yulao instantly lost his temper when the topic of stock up was brought up. He calmed Old Lord Taishang down slightly, then replied. Sky Sovereign, please ask. I want to know how the fake marriage string came about. Recently, I got a fake marriage string. Fake marriage string. Yulao stroked his beard. This fake marriage string is actually similar to the marriage string. They are both opportunities for a man and a woman to fall in love. However, the difference between the fake marriage string and the marriage string is that the fake marriage string is not reliable. Under normal circumstances, a false marriage bond is formed when one party is interested in the other party's preferences. The other party feels very moved, but there is no real love, so this kind of false marriage bond is formed. Yi Zichen nodded after seeing Yulao's answer. Then what's with the affability level of the fake marriage string? When the affability level of the fake marriage string rises to a certain level, it will become a real marriage string. It's for real. Yi Zichen looked at the message in shock. When it reaches a certain level, it will become a real marriage string. Doesn't this mean that Chong, you will really fall in love with me in the future? Then wouldn't I be ked to death by those deities in the heavenly court that have a crush on Chong-yi? I'm just a mortal. I can't beat a deity. Yi Zichen asked once again for his own safety. Then can I make the fake marriage string not increase the affability level? It doesn't seem like it. Affability level is a very mysterious thing. It can't be controlled. Yulao raised his eyebrows. He had been matchmaking for so many years, but this was the first time he met someone who wanted to decrease the affability level, especially a man. However, when he thought about how important this Sky Sovereign was to him, he couldn't help but ask, Sky Sovereign, how about you tell me the name of the person with the fake marriage string? I might be able to help you try and see if I can decrease the affability level or just cut the string short for you. Are you serious? I can try. Chapter 220. 220 Big Gossip Chong-yi. The moment Yulao saw the reply, he immediately stood up from his chair. What? Are you saying that you don't want to play anymore after winning? Old Lord Taishang's face was filled with anger. I lost, okay. Elder Yu rolled his eyes and ignored Old Lord Taishang's words. His brows were filled with curiosity. Old Lord Taishang asked curiously, but Fairy Chong of the vast cold palace in the heavenly court. Yes. All right, I understand. I will do my best to help Sky Sovereign. Yi Zichen finally let out a sigh of relief when he received Yu Lao's confirmation. However, when he considered the consequences, he couldn't help but remind him again. Don't mention this to outsiders. Of course, Yu Lao promised. I'm a tight-lipped person. However, the moment he replied to this message, Yu Lao placed his phone on the table and said with a mysterious smile on his face, Old Lord, true Lord Erlang, I'll tell you some gossip. How about returning what you won from me? Don't even think about it. Old Lord Taishang raised his eyebrows. Recently, he had lost quite a bit in Fight the Landlord with Erlang Shun, the god of fortune and canopy marshal. Since he finally got back some face from Yulao, he wasn't going to get back up so easily. On the other hand, Erlang Shun, who had been doing really well in Fight the Landlord recently, didn't lack Yulao's bit. He asked curiously, I wonder what gossip Yulao wants to talk about. Big gossip, it's definitely big gossip. Gossip about the #1 beauty and #1 mystery of the heavenly court. Old Lord Taishang was slightly moved by Yu Lao's words. I don't want cultivation experience or salary that I lost. Just return the reputation to me. Sure. Taishang Laoju nodded. Reputation points were useless, even if he had more than a dozen. Erlang Shun also nodded. In his eyes, cultivation experience and salary were still useful. I'm telling you guys, Fairy Chong, E, and Sky Sovereign Nameless are connected by a marriage string. What? Erlang Shun nearly jumped up after hearing that. He gulped and licked his lips. You said that my bro and Chong. Of course, the two of them are only fated to be married. But according to the Celestial Venerable's words, they already have favorability towards each other. Don't you think it's a huge piece of gossip? Let me tell you, this is definitely the biggest piece of gossip in the heavenly courts in the past 10,000 years. Yulao stroked his beard and chuckled. He didn't forget what Yi Zichen had said. All right, don't tell anyone. No problem, we're all tight-lipped. As soon as Taishang Lao Jun and Erling Shin finished speaking, they picked up their phones and started looking for their friends. Are you there? Let me tell you some big gossip. What Yi Zichen didn't know was that the secret he told Yulao had already spread throughout the heavenly court. At this time, he was sitting in Lin Ru's car and was rushing to the Lin family. Back then, you saved my grandfather's life. I haven't had the chance to thank you yet. I like to say it now. Thank you very much. Lin Ru said sincerely. Yi Zichen, who sat in the front passenger seat, raised his eyebrows with a smile. Didn't you thank me back then? Don't overthink it. Although I find you interesting, I don't like you. Lin Ru thought that her actions back then caused Yi Zichen to misunderstand, so she quickly explained. What's more, you have Susu and that girl by your side, so just be content. Don't overthink it. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes speechlessly. This girl truly thinks highly of herself. How you and I are good bros. I'm not scum enough to steal a bro's woman. Hee hee. Lin Ru suddenly laughed coldly. You actually know that you're scum. Ha! You actually messed around outside when you have such a good girl like Susu. I really don't know why Susu would like a guy like you. You won't understand my personal charm, Lin Ru snorted. Lin Ru pursed her lips. In her heart, she still felt that it was unfair for Su Yan. With Su Yan's talent, she could find any man she wanted, but she just had to find a playboy. The two of them chatted as they arrived at the Lin family. The moment they entered, Yi Zichen saw Lin Hanbin and Lin Lin waiting in front of the mansion. Mr. Yi, Lin Hanbin quickly walked over, while Lin Lin also lowered his head deeply, not knowing what to say. Yi Zichen ignored the brat, who had high expectations but low abilities, and raised his eyebrows towards Lin Hanbin with a smile. You did donate quite a bit. 10 million. That's pretty good. Of course. Lin Hanbin chuckled on the side, while he was a bit shocked. He did not make a big deal of his donation, nor did he tell Yi Zichen. However, the other party actually knew the amount of his donation. It seems like this benefactor is not only skilled in medicine, he also has a lot of status and connections in other areas. Yi Zichen nodded and shrugged. Don't just stand here. Didn't you guys come to me for Old Man Lin's follow-up treatment? Let's go. In Old Man Lin's room. Due to Yi Zichen's treatment method being rather special, only he and Elder Lin were in the room. Yi Zichen pulled out the last silver needle and smiled towards Elder Lin. Done. Little friend, you've worked hard. Elder Lin's face was filled with a kind smile. Yi Zichen raised his hand to wipe away the sweat on his forehead, then sat down on a chair in the room to rest for a while. Old Man Lin, this brat has always wanted to ask you a question. A light flashed across Elder Lin's eyes as he laid on the bed, then chuckled. Ask away. You are this old man's savior, so I will definitely answer. Yi Zichen hesitated for a moment, then licked his lips. There are a lot of families in that place, but why did you mention the Gu family? Do you think that I am similar to the Gu family in any way? Also, according to my investigations, your meridians are not caused by some chronic illness. Little friend's question is rather tricky, Elder Lin smiled. Hearing that, Yi Zichen spoke up. If Elder Lin feels that it's inconvenient, then just pretend that I didn't ask. No worries. Elder Lin raised his hand and shook his head. There was a trace of nostalgia in his eyes as he said, I'll answer your second question first. My eldest son asked me this question before, but I didn't answer it that time because I was afraid it would cause trouble for him. However, I don't have much of a fear towards little friend. Actually, the injuries on my body were caused by the people from that place. Elder Lin has contact with the people from that place? But why do they do it so heavily? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. Old man Lin smiled, of course. When your status reaches a certain level, you will naturally come into contact with some things that you have never come into contact with before. As for why they did it to me, are you scared of trouble? Elder Lin kicked the ball back to Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen licked his lips, then hesitated for a moment before replying. Never mind, I'm scared of trouble. Then I won't tell you. When you aren't afraid of trouble, or when you feel like you have enough trouble around you and don't lack trouble, then come and ask me. I will definitely tell you. With that, Old Man Lin looked up at Yi Zichen and asked. Chapter 221. 221 The mystery of his past. What was there to be curious about his past? He didn't have a father since he was young. It was his mother who raised him. He grew up in a family that couldn't be more normal. It could be said that he didn't have a past at all. However, it wasn't so normal coming from Elder Lin's mouth. He had frequent contact with the people in that place, and from his expression, he seemed to know something. Elder Lin, just say it. A hint of nervousness appeared in Yi Zichen's eyes. A hint of nervousness appeared in Yi Zichen's eyes. A single sentence from Old Man Lin caused his expression to drastically change. When they returned to the mansion, Yi Rong went to wash the fruits with a smile, as usual, while Yi Zichen sat on the sofa absent-mindedly and continuously wrote a word on the sofa with his finger. Yi, goo. If it wasn't for Elder Lin, he might not have thought of this problem. Yi. It would be an ancient character after turning 90 degrees. Truly, Chinese characters were deep and profound. Hachi, hachi. Lil White rubbed his pants. Yi Zichen raised his hand and rubbed his head. What do you want to say to me? Lil White sneaked a glance at the kitchen sink, then jumped onto Yi Zichen's leg and muttered. Boss, you have something on your mind. You can tell that I have something on my mind as well. Yi Zichen patted his head, then let out a disappointed sigh. There is, and it's very heavy. Then, just as Lil White was about to speak, Yi Rong walked out with a plate of fruits and placed it on the tea table. Zichen, eat some fruits. The kind smile caused Yi Zichen's emotions to become even more complicated. He had followed his mother's surname since he was young. Could it be that this ordinary mother of his was a member of the Gu family, a hidden clan? Yi Zichen nodded with a dry smile, then absent-mindedly stuffed a piece of apple into his mouth with a toothpick. You've been very busy recently. You haven't been coming back much. Uh-huh. Then you have to pay attention to rest. Don't work so hard. If your body breaks down, then you'll suffer. Uh-huh. Yi Zichen's absent-minded look finally caught Yi Rong's attention. She stood up and sat beside Yi Zichen with a worried look. Zichen, are you in some trouble recently? Yi Zichen put the toothpick in his hand onto the tea table, then crossed his hands on his lap, then leaned over and thought for a long time. Mom, I want to ask you a question. What is it? Yi Rong revealed a look of confusion. She could feel that something was off with Yi Zichen. Who is my father? Yi Zichen looked up and looked at Mother Yi with a burning gaze. This question had troubled him for a very long time. Yi Rong's expression stiffened. She smiled bitterly and raised her hand to rub his head. This child, why do you suddenly want to ask this? Haven't we been living well all these years? I just want to know. Yi Zichen frowned. Every time I ask you, you'll find an excuse. Can you tell me this time? Silence. The instant this feeling appeared, Yi Zichen smiled wryly and shook his head. It was too familiar. No matter how many times he asked Mother Yi about his father, Mother Yi used this kind of silence to deal with him. After a while, Yi Zichen looked up and smiled. All right, I won't ask anymore. Zichen, it's not that Mom doesn't want to tell you. It's that. Yi Rong revealed a troubled expression. Mom has a problem. I understand. I won't ask anymore. With that, Yi Zichen's expression suddenly tensed up. Then can you tell me, what relationship does our family have with the Gu family? All of a sudden, Yi Rong's expression drastically changed when she heard the question. This intense emotional reaction was much more serious than when he asked who his father was. What are you talking about? What Gu family? After a long while, Mother Yi finally calmed her expression and smiled like she didn't know anything. Is what you said true? Yi Zichen looked up and stared straight into Mother Ye's eyes. He could feel his mother's evasion from her eyes. Mom doesn't understand what you're talking about. I'm a bit tired, so I'm going back to rest. Yi Rong stood up from the sofa and quickly walked up to the second floor. Yi Zichen looked at his mother's back for a long time without saying anything. At this moment, Lil White jumped up and licked his hand. Boss, stay here properly. I'm a bit tired as well, so I'm going to rest. Yi Zichen dragged his tired body back to the room. Very tired. Very tired. Yi Zichen laid on the bed and looked at the ceiling. If there was no surprise, his mother definitely knew about the Gu family. What's more, judging from her expression, their relationship wasn't normal. Yi Zichen took out his phone out of habit and opened WeChat. 10-odd messages from Erling Shun. 10-odd messages from Canopy Marshall. A few messages from Third Prince Neza. 10-odd messages from Great Sage Sunday. Even Tai Bai Jinxing left him a message. There were also people continuously mentioning him in the Heavenly Court's WeChat group. What's going on? Why did I suddenly become so popular? Yi Zichen took a look at the 99 confirmation messages in his WeChat contact list, then glanced at the confirmation messages. They were all scolding him. F***, what's going on? Yi Zichen looked at the deities that were scolding him in shock. Just what did I do to actually make the deities attack me together? Ding dong. At this moment, Han Xiangzi also sent a message. Congratulations. What the hell? Even the 8 immortals were alarmed. There's definitely something going on. Yi Zichen frowned, then replied. I wonder what Brother Han is congratulating me for? This sovereign hasn't had any happy events recently. Within the 8 immortals' palace, Iron Crutch Li, Lu Dongbin, and the rest of the 8 immortals sat in a circle and chatted about the gossip they heard from their friends. Han Xiangzi, who participated in the conversation, couldn't help but smile when he saw the message on his phone. Sky Sovereign Nameless is actually still playing dumb with me. Hey, that's normal. Iron Crutchley smiled as if he was experienced. Iron Crutchley said with a smile. After Fairy Chong, he became her descendant. Her immortal heart has never wavered. This heavenly venerable Nameless actually married the fairy, so it's normal for him to hide it. Yeah, Iron Crutchley smiled as if he was experienced. Lon Saiha carried the basket and glanced at Xingu. Didn't you and Xingu only tell us the truth when you couldn't hide it anymore? Lon Saiha, immortal lady, he raised her eyebrows. There was a shiny diamond ring on her ring finger. Han Xiangzi merely smiled dumbly in response. Meanwhile, Lu Dongbin took the chance to send a message to Yi Zichen. Sky Sovereign, stop hiding it. It's all exposed. Ding dong. Yi Zichen's phone vibrated once again. At that moment, Yi Zichen was sitting in the car and reading the messages the other celestial friends sent him. All of them were congratulatory messages and random comments. Only the geezer, Tai Bai Jinxing, sent him a question mark. Yi Zichen read all the messages in confusion, then became even more confused when he saw Lu Dongbin's message. Stop hiding it. Chapter 222. First voice message. What was going on with the people in the heavenly court? A bunch of people added him as friends and scolded him, and a bunch of people left messages to congratulate him. Brother Lu, I really don't understand what you're talking about. What's wrong? Brother Nameless, you are in the wrong here. Lu Dongbin replied with a smile. Although we've never met before, just based on the fact that you've helped old Han, we're family. You actually didn't tell us such a big thing first. What the hell is going on? Forget it. I won't tease Brother Nameless anymore. The matter between you and Fairy Chong, he has spread in the heavenly court. To be able to subdue the number 1 beauty of the heavenly court, Brother Nameless, is amazing. The message was followed by a row of thumbs up emojis. His hand shook violently. His relationship with Chong, he had been exposed. Although he had roughly guessed what was going on, with his trust in Yulao and a sliver of hope. I wonder what Brother Nameless is referring to between me and Chang'e? There's no need to hide it at this time. Of course, it's about the marriage between you and Fairy Chang'e. I don't know when Brother John Doe will hold a banquet. The 8 immortals will definitely be there. F*CK. Yi Zichen, who was sitting in the car, nearly threw his phone out when he saw the message. Yi Zichen's expression darkened to that of Lord Bao's. Yulao, screw you. It was said that a man without hair on his mouth was not reliable. Elder Yu's beard grew big, and he swore that he would definitely not tell anyone. In less than a day, everyone in the heavenly court knew about it. He gritted his teeth so hard that they made creaking sounds, ding-dong. Yulao's head suddenly jumped to the top, while the bright red one nearly caused Yi Zichen to clench his teeth. She still dare to look for him? Sky Sovereign, I'm here to offer a humble apology. Elder Moon held a cigarette in his right hand. The entire immortal residence was shrouded in smoke, and his brows were filled with worry. Sky Venerable Nameless and Fairy Chang, he had spread like wildfire in the heavenly court, so he would be lying if he said he didn't know. Although he held a grudge against Taishang Lao Jun and Erlang Jinjun, what could he do? He shouldn't have coveted such a small advantage. He had no choice but to apologize and beg for leniency. Yi Zichen, who was sitting in the car, laughed. He laughed because he was angered by the old man. Sky Sovereign, I accidentally mentioned it to old Lord Taishang and true Lord Erlang when we were playing cards. After that, I told him not to tell anyone else, but who would have thought? It's all my fault. Yi Zichen licked his lips with a snort. Yulao put on an extremely humble attitude. It is indeed your fault. Please be magnanimous, heavenly venerable. I will do my best to help you get out of this and avoid the influence of the heavenly court's public opinion. You're focusing on the wrong thing. Yi Zichen let out a sigh. Although I'm one of the victims, no matter what, I'm a man. You should think about Fairy Chang'e. What will happen to her in the heavenly court if this news spreads? The Sky Sovereign is right. Don't flatter me here. If you have the time, go think of a strategy. As for how to deal with you in the future, it will depend on how you handle this matter. Good. When Yulao saw this news, a glimmer of hope rose in his heart. At least there was a chance to salvage the situation. After putting his phone into his pocket, Elder Moon called in the 2 immortal children who were guarding outside the door. Esteemed Master, the 2 immortal children bowed at the same time. Yulao put out the cigarette in his hand and squinted his eyes. Go and hire a water army for me. Spread the word that Sky Sovereign Nameless and Fairy Chang, Yi's red thread, is a rumor and cannot be taken seriously. When Yi Zichen returned home, Third Fatty Jean sat on the sofa like a lord, while Di Tian, who was wearing an apron, cleaned the house like a house husband. Bossy. Third Fatty Jean quickly jumped down from the sofa when he saw Yi Zichen enter the room. Don't bother me. I'm in a bad mood. Yi Zichen pushed Third Fatty Jean to the side, then returned to the bedroom. Di Tian, who was cleaning the house, took a peek. What are you looking at? Do your work properly. Di Tian frowned. Third Fatty Jean raised his eyebrows. What? You don't like it? Boss Ho. Zoom. When the Ho brothers suddenly appeared in the room, Third Fatty Jean hurriedly put on a furious expression and scolded them. Boss Ho, this grandson glared at our bossy. Ding dang dong. Yi Zichen, who was in the bedroom, ignored the situation outside. He was currently having a huge headache over Fairy Chang, Yi's situation. You're finally back. Lu Jing came out from the Dragon Eye on the bedside table and floated beside Yi Zichen with a joyful expression. Phone, I can't let you see it this time. Yi Zichen let out a long sigh with a frown. Ding dong. The Monkey King tagged you in the group. Yi Zichen felt like his head was about to explode when he saw this message. What is this monkey bro doing? It's fine if he doesn't help, but why is he doing more harm than good? Yi Zichen clicked open the chat group. God of Thunder, I just heard that the news about Sky Sovereign Nameless and Fairy Chang, Yi is fake. Mother of Lightning, I heard it as well. Monkey King, hey, what are you guessing for? Just call the 2 of them out. Only idealism, Fairy Chang, immortality, Peach Fairy. The great sage is truly brave. Pagoda bearing heavenly kingly, forcefully spectating. Third Prince Neza, forcefully spectating. Canopy Marshal. Why did Old Lee come out as well? Pagoda bearing Heavenly Kingly. You like this sort of gossip as well? Third Prince Neza. Hee hee. I secretly used my dad's phone to transfer my pocket money to the wrong one. Wu Gang. I want an explanation. From the looks of it, Yu Lao should have already taken some remedial measures. However, what gave Izichin a headache was that the monkey only knew how to cause trouble. Hey, the Heavenly Lord Nameless they're talking about is you, right? What happened between you and Chong? Lu Jing floated on the side with a curious look. Izichin licked his lips with a wry smile. The Heavenly Court is spreading the news of me and Fairy Chong, being a matchmaker. Pooh. It can't be. You won't even let immortals off now. Lu Qing's little mouth gaped open in surprise, but she quickly shrugged and said, Yes, that's more like it. As long as it's a good-looking woman, you won't let it go. Yi Zichen couldn't be bothered with Lu Jing's retort. He merely looked at the scrolling messages in the group. At that moment, Chong Yi appeared. Chong Yi, great sage, why did you tag me? It's over. Yi Zichen's heart went cold. It seemed like Chong, he didn't know about it before. In order to prevent Chong Yi from seeing what the deities were saying, Yi Zichen also spoke up in the group. Only idealism. Goddess Chong Yi, private message. Hua. The two main characters both appeared, and they came one after the other. The group instantly exploded once again. All sorts of curious questions flooded the screen. However, Chong Yi, who was the main character, had already sent Yi Zichen a private message. Sky Sovereign, what's going on in that group? They seem to be talking about us. In the end, I still saw it. Yi Zichen let out a long sigh, then replied apologetically. Sorry, Fairy, I caused you to suffer like this. Chong Yi, who was in the Moon Palace, blushed. She only found out that the matter between her and Sky, Sovereign Nameless, had been made public in the Heavenly Court after scrolling through the chat history. She did have a hint of love towards Sky, Sovereign Nameless, but she never expressed it. Especially in this sort of situation, the only one who could feel her love was Sky Sovereign, Ding Dong. Just as Izichin was thinking about how to explain, Chong, he sent another message. Chapter 223. Chapter 223. Announce relationship. This was the first time Yi Zichen saw a deity send a voice message after interacting with the Heavenly Court and Underworld for so long. Yi Zichen clicked on the voice message curiously. Did Sky Sovereign spread the news? Yes. I'm really sorry. Yi Zichen did not hide it. In terms of origin, it was from him. Ding Dong. Your affability level with Chong Yi increased by 1,000. Current affability level, 1,015. Ding Dong. Your red line with Chong Yi has changed. Current red line is the marriage string. F*CK. 1,000 affability level. Yi Zichen opened his eyes wide as he looked at the notification, then at the marriage string in the treasure chest. It really changed. Sky Sovereign doesn't need to apologize to me. It's good to announce the news. It was a very gentle voice, with a hint of shyness within the coldness. More importantly, her reply. It's good to announce it. Before he could reply, Yi Zichen saw that in the Heavenly Court's group, Chong, he replied to you in the group. F*CK. It seems like I'm definitely going to get into a feud with the male deities in the Heavenly Court. Chong, only idealism. All the deities in the group had pretty much the same reaction. If it was to be described with a single word, then it would be explosion. Immortality Peach Fairy, watching from the front row. It seems like they're going to announce their relationship. God of Thunder, it seems like they're going to give me some dog food. Mother of Lightning, are you going to say that you're single? God of Thunder, no, I'm mourning for all the single young men in the group. Heavenly Soldier, although I just got married a few days ago, I'm still very sad that the goddess announced her relationship just like that. Heavenly Soldier B, brothers, don't cry. We still have a chance before Chong. He gives us a definite reply. Chong Yi, everyone quiet down. I have something to say. The group instantly turned silent. Chong Yi, only idealism. Tell everyone the truth. Yi Zichen felt his scalp tingle when he saw the message. Tell everyone, I'm F*King beaten to death. Wow. Chong, he seems like she's going to announce her relationship. Don't they usually take a photo together, then say we? You guys are progressing way too quickly. Lu Jing exclaimed on the side, then added, hurry up and say something. Hurry up and show yourself. Fairy Chong, he is very lonely. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes at the girl, then let out a long sigh. Ha 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 ha. He didn't know what to say, so he had no choice but to type a bunch of ha-ha-s in the group. When Chong, Yi saw him come out, she first sent a cute smiley face, followed by a text message. Just as you think, I am indeed tied to the heavenly sovereign. Hua. Immortality Peach Fairy. The news is explosive. Wu Gang, impossible. Fairy Chong, I've been chopping trees outside your door for so long. Don't you understand my feelings for you? Chong, Wu Gang, I'm so annoyed that you're cutting trees in front of my door every day. I can't sleep even if I want to. Don't slash anymore. Chong, also, I was the one who initiated the matchmaking with Heavenly Lord Nameless. Chong, I'm not good at communicating with others. What I want to say is I hope you guys can bless us. Chong, only idealism. You should say something too. Yi Zichen. Ha 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 ha. Immortality Peach Kid. Great deity is so happy. That's right. Being able to be with Chong, is indeed something to be happy about. Unfortunately, I quite like Heavenly Sovereign. Third Prince Neza. I don't really understand the world of adults, but since Chong Ijija said to bless us, then I will. God of Thunder, congratulations. Mother of Lightning, congratulations. The chat group was instantly flooded with congratulatory messages. At that moment, Wu Gang, does anyone want to get a drink together? Heavenly Soldier C. Gang G, count me in. Heavenly Soldier B, cold dog food is randomly slapping my face. My tears flowed uncontrollably. The group was split into two sides, either congratulating or complaining. Yi Zichen did not say anything in the group, because the private messages were too intense. Monkey King. Bro, I heard that Chong Yi announced a relationship with you. Canopy Marshall. I'll give it to you. Erling Shun. I'll stop thinking about Chong Yi from now on. Bro, I wished Juju a long time. Yu Lao. Sky Sovereign. It seems like I don't need to hire internet trolls anymore, right? Yi Zichen felt rather helpless when he saw everyone's replies. The speed of transmission was even faster than the internet. Ding dong. At that moment, Tai Bai Jinxing also sent a message. Tai Bai Jinxing. What exactly do you want to do? Tai Bai Jinxing. Did you forget your identity? How can you date someone from the heavenly court? Tai Bai Jinxing. It's still Chong? Yi Zichen twitched his mouth and smiled wryly. Gramps, do you think I want to? Dating Chong, it wasn't that easy. He would be condemned by everyone. Not even a second after Chong, he announced her relationship, and even said that she took the initiative. Deities continuously sent him friend requests on WeChat. The curses, they weren't much worse than internet trolls. Never mind, I don't care whether you date Chong-yi or not. How's the situation over at the underworld? Yi Zichen licked his lips and replied with a coy smile. I haven't infiltrated it yet. Hurry up and infiltrate it. I'll wait for your good news. What Yi Zichen did not expect was that this Gramps actually didn't curse him angrily. That wasn't like his personality at all. Yi Zichen sent a simple reply to Boss Tai Bai Jinxing, then left the chat. Then, he saw that Chong, he sent him a voice message. Sky Sovereign, can I call you Nameless from now on? Yi Zichen didn't know whether to laugh or cry when he heard the gentle tone mixed with shyness and anticipation. Chong, he dated him. Sure. Ding dong. Your intimacy level with Chong, he increased by 300. Current intimacy level, 600. Ding dong. Your intimacy level with Chong, he leveled up. Current intimacy level, respect. Ding dong. Your affability level with Chong, he increased by 1,000. Current affability level, 2015. Ding dong. You received heart-to-heart connection, 1,000-mile, sound, transmission, sigil, X1. Holders. Only idealism, Chong-yi. Nameless. A slightly probing reply sounded out in Yi Zichen's mind. F*CK. Sound transmission, 1,000-mile. Here. Yi Zichen replied in his mind. Wow, what a nice voice. Chong, he exclaimed like a little girl, then said shyly. Since our relationship has been announced, when can you return to the heavenly court? What? Are we going to set up a banquet? Yi Zichen couldn't help but retort as he replied in his mind. It's not very possible in the near future. I'm on the verge of breaking through, so I can't leave this secret location. Then all right, Chong. Yi's tone was filled with undisguisable disappointment. At that moment, Yi Zichen's mind was in a mess as well. Fairy, I'm going into closed cultivation. Then go. When Chong, Yi's voice disappeared from his mind, Yi Zichen let out a long sigh of relief and laid down on the bed. Lu Jing floated above his head and asked curiously, How are you and Chong? Nothing. Just say it. Don't be so petty. Here's your phone. Go and read your book. Chapter 224. An underfed dog ever since Yi Rong asked about the Gu family, she started to intentionally avoid Yi Zichen. This abnormality only confirmed Yi Zichen's suspicions. But more than that, he was vexed. The Gu family. If he really had something to do with the Gu clan, wouldn't that mean that Gu Tian, who had low EQ, was his cousin? When Yi Zichen thought about that brat's idiotic look, he couldn't help but get angry. Buzz. The phone on the tea table rang. Yi Zichen picked it up and placed it by his ear. Yume. Within a private room of a certain business clubhouse, the Ho brothers stood behind Yi Zichen like two door gods. Yi Zichen sat on the sofa and raised his eyebrows as he looked at Xiao Yume. Why are you looking for me so urgently? What happened? What? Can't I look for you? A ripple appeared in Xiao Yume's alluring eyes. Then she rolled her eyes at Yi Zichen. I didn't say that. It's just that you've been busy with the medical company recently, so you haven't had the time to contact me. Are you trying to pick on me? Xiao Yume put her hands on her waist and raised her eyebrows. You're quite happy being a hands-off shopkeeper. I'm so busy that I'm about to die, yet you don't even care about me. Fine, I was wrong. Our Yume has worked hard. Oomph. The corner of Xiao Yume's mouth rose. I called you over to support me. What? Our pharmaceutical company's management is quite good. All kinds of approvals have been issued very quickly, but there is still no news about the approval from the Food and Drug Administration. Hearing that, Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and looked meaningfully at her. They want a piece of the action? I'm not sure either. I've also met with the director of the Drug Administration and tried to give him a check, but no matter how much it was, he rejected it all. Looks like he's a big eater. As soon as he finished speaking, the door of the private room was pushed open, and a middle-aged man with gold-rimmed glasses and a beer belly walked in from the outside. Chief Fu. The instant Xiao Yume saw the man, she stood up and welcomed him. Yi Zichen also stood up and raised his eyebrows. Deputy Commissioner? Little Xiao. Chief Fu nodded like an old man, then looked towards Yi Zichen. This is Commissioner Fu. This is the chairman of our medical company, Yi Zichen. Xiao Yume introduced. To be able to establish such a large pharmaceutical company at such a young age, admirable. Chief Fu smiled politely, while Yi Zichen returned the greeting. When everyone sat down, Chief Fu sat opposite Xiao Yume and Yi Zichen, then leaned back on the sofa. Xiao, why did you call me here this time? I have a lot of work to do. Of course I'll have to trouble you. At the same time, she took out a $5 million check from her pocket and placed it on the table. Director Fu, you're busy. We know that. This is just a small token. Green bean eyes glanced at the table. When Chief Fu saw the amount on it, a playful smile appeared on his wrinkled face. Boss Xiao, I know you are very anxious about the FDA approval, but we have to follow the rules, right? Your company has invested so much money in the beginning, so the review naturally has to be slower. Both Xiao Yume and Yi Zichen couldn't help but curse silently when they saw this. What a glutton! The approval from the State Food and Drug Administration was definitely in his hands. Everything was ready except for this approval. It could be said that Xiao Yume was as uncomfortable as she could be. Who knows how much profit she would lose with every single day. She clenched her teeth, then took out the checkbook from her bag and prepared to add numbers. Yume, no need. Yi Zichen stopped her with a smile. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and stopped her with a smile. Even $5 million wasn't enough to feed Commissioner Fu, so he might as well not feed him. Yi Zichen picked up the check on the table and slowly tore it in front of Chief Fu. Chief Fu squinted his eyes when he saw Yi Zichen's playful gaze. At the same time, Yi Zichen also slammed the table and stood up with a smile. Chief Fu's appetite is truly huge. Does Bossy want to break the rules? Since someone broke the rules, Chief Fu decided to just cut off all pretenses. I'll just tell you the truth. The medical approval is in my hands right now. Since you want to go through the proper process, then wait for a year or so. I just don't know if you guys can afford to wait. Don't think that I don't know anything. The medical approval will take 15 days at most if it goes through the proper process. Since Chief Fu told us to go according to the rules, then we'll go according to the rules. With that, Yi Zichen wrapped his arm around Xiao Yumei's waist with a chuckle. No wonder you're so fat. It turns out that your appetite is so huge. Even 5 million isn't enough to feed you. You really are an insatiable dog. Heh, young man, don't be too arrogant. It seems like there isn't much to talk about. Goodbye, Boss Xiao. Chief Fu left the room with his briefcase. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes as he looked at Chief Fu's back, then said to Hoda, "Follow that fatty. Follow that fatty and find a chance to beat him up." Understood. Zoom. Just like that, Hoda disappeared from the room. Xiao Yumei held Yi Zichen's arm and frowned. Xiao Yumei held Yi Zichen's arm and frowned. Zichen, this isn't too good, right? What not good about it? He's just a lousy deputy director. What? He is Chief Zheng. His surname is Fu. This name, let's not talk about his name anymore. That grandson is a bottomless pit. He can never be full. Yi Zichen snorted coldly. Don't worry about the Food and Drug Administration. Did you forget who our partner is? Are you sure you want to trouble young Master Su with this? What's so troublesome about that? He also has shares in the company. Besides, as the #1 prince of Bingcheng, he should at least show some of his power, right? With that, Yi Zichen called Su Yiyun. After explaining the situation, Su Yiyun replied over the phone. Leave it to me. I'll settle it in 3 days. Xiao Yumei had other matters to attend to, so she left first. Yi Zichen leaned lazily on the sofa and smoked. At that moment, the door to the room was pushed open. Go in. Fourth Ho grabbed Yu's shoulders and pushed him to the ground. Bossy, this brat was sneaking around outside just now. I feel like he's coming for you. Yi Zichen instantly lost his temper when he saw you. He casually chucked the cigarette in his hand onto the floor, then tilted his head and said helplessly, Say, bro, why did you come again? You're too stubborn. Yi Zichen was truly speechless. He had just been taught a lesson by Soul Pearly Yuan and his 2 monkeys, and he Asterisk King came over again in just a few days. What's your purpose for coming here this time? Did you come to kill me again? Yes. Chapter 225. Yu's request cough. Yi Zichen coughed dryly. This bro is seriously. He had already been subdued by his men, yet he still dared to say such words. What do you want me to say about you? Yi Zichen shrugged helplessly and tried his best to comfort her. Didn't I tell you very clearly last time? You can't kill me at all. Why do you have to bite me and not let me go? I didn't give you healing elixirs to help you recover from your injuries and cause trouble for me. You have to learn to be grateful, brother. Hu Xiao wants me to kill you. Yu's eyes were like venomous snakes, incomparably gloomy and cold. But the problem is that you can't kill me. Yi Zichen sighed, then signaled Fourth Ho to let him go. Ask yourself, can you kill me? No. There was no hesitation in Yu's reply. Then tell me, why are you doing this, brother? Yi Zichen showed a bitter expression. Why is this bro so stubborn? Just as the 2 sides were in a deadlock, Yu suddenly put his hand into his bosom. Third Ho instantly stood in front of Yi Zichen to protect him, while Fourth Ho also stomped down bang. You took Ho C's punch head on. His whole body fell backward and hit the wall of the private room, but his body carefully protected the thing in his hand. That thing, wait a moment. Yi Zichen quickly stopped Fourth Ho when he saw that Fourth Ho was about to attack. Isn't this the pill I gave you? You didn't eat. I want to know where you got this. You ignored the injuries on his body and walked over while holding the medicinal pills. However, when he was about 3 meters away, Ho Si stopped him. Your recovery ability is pretty good. You didn't take this medicine, but you're almost recovered. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows and smiled, but you continue to stare at him. I want to know where this pill came from. Talking to you is really tiring. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes in annoyance. Why do you care so much? If you think that this is poison, then return it to me. It's rather expensive. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows, then revealed a look of speechlessness. Giving me pills and so many things, seriously, this is very important to me. You, who wasn't good with words, suddenly shouted. Ho Si, who was standing to the side, trembled when he shouted. He lifted his leg and kicked Yu's body, scolding. Are you trying to scare our bossy? What are you shouting for? Are you trying to show off your loud voice? Fourth Ho. Only then did Fourth Ho let go of Yi Zichen's collar. This pill is mine. I am the channel to produce it. Are you sure? You revealed a look of confusion. Yi Zichen nodded in response. Why would I lie to you for no reason? The moment Yi Zichen finished, you looked at him in shock, then knelt onto the ground. Please help me. Yi Zichen was completely shocked when he knelt down. This bro was just competing with him. Why did he kneel down now? He hurriedly walked over to help him up, but it was as if Yu's legs were covered in 101 glue, and he refused to get up no matter what. I can't get up. Please help me. Yu's expression was filled with anticipation. Yi Zichen licked his lips, then squatted beside him. Then tell me what you want me to help you with. How can I help you if you don't tell me? I want you to help treat someone. Such a small matter could actually cause so many problems. Yi Zichen truly couldn't understand Yu's way of thinking. If he wanted him to save someone, then couldn't he just say it directly? It was fortunate that they were in the room. If they were outside and some bystanders who didn't know the truth saw it, then they might be able to make it into the headlines the next day. Sure, I'll help. You can get up now, right? Thank you. If you can save her, then my life is yours. He's still kneeling. I already said it like that. And he's still kneeling. King told you to get up. If you still want me to help you, then stand up. It was very hard to imagine that a spiritual body-level expert like you actually lived under a bridge. Yi Zichen stood in front of the bridge and smoked. He heard you say that his friend was still in the hospital, so he told him to wait here for a moment while he went to get her. Sha-sha. A series of light footsteps sounded out. Not long later, you hurried over with a pale-faced woman in his arms, who had her eyes tightly shut. The woman was very young, and her breathing was very weak, but very tenacious. It was clear that this woman also had a very strong desire to live, but she was plagued by an illness. The friend you were talking about is her? No matter how you looked at it, you was in the same generation as her father. Could it be that he was an old cow eating young grass? Z's, you nodded silently, then gently placed the girl on a rag under the bridge. At the same time, Yi Zichen also felt the girl's pulse with his finger. He frowned. Yi Zichen looked up at the girl's completely pale face, as well as her pained expression. What's going on? She's not sick at all. Not only is this girl not sick, her body is even much healthier than normal people. Yi Zichen moved his hand away from the pulse with a frown, while you immediately walked up nervously. How is it? Yi Zichen raised his hand to signal him to be quiet, while his eyes instantly flashed with a golden light. Fiery eyes of truth, activate. Yi Zichen swept his gaze over the girl's body, then frowned even more. What did this girl go through? Yi Zichen looked to the side with a frown, while you lowered his head without saying anything. It's fine if you don't say it. Then I'll tell you directly. This girl isn't sick at all. Not only is she not sick, she's much healthier than normal people. That's impossible. If she isn't sick, then why hasn't she woken up? She lacks a soul. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes. 3 spiritual and 6 physical souls. She lacks a soul. Yi Zichen couldn't help but feel scared when he said that. He didn't understand anything back then. When that grandson Ciele asked for one of his spiritual and 1 physical soul, he nearly gave it to him. Luckily, he didn't, so that's how it is. He was not surprised at all. Instead, he revealed a bitter expression as if he expected it, and sat on the ground with a bitter look. You guessed it? From the looks of it, he clearly expected this outcome. Uh-huh, you nodded. A hint of sadness surfaced in his eyes. I guessed this possibility, but I didn't think it would be true. You believe what I said? Naturally. There's no need for you to lie to a cripple like me, since you can take out that kind of pill. You squinted his eyes. You narrowed his eyes. Shortly after, a trace of struggle suddenly appeared on his face, which already had nothing to live for. Linger, don't blame Uncle. I can't save you. so I can only let you die a bit faster. With that, Yu's right hand slapped toward the girl. Slap! Just as his hand was about to land on the girl's head, Yi Zichen suddenly grabbed his arm. What are you doing? Yu's eyes revealed a fierce light. Yi Zichen licked his lips speechlessly. Chapter 226. Catching a thief. When he heard Yi Zichen's reply, Yu's gaze gradually turned from shock to joy. Is what you said true? To be honest, Yu's expression of anticipation gave Yi Zichen quite a bit of pressure. Yi Zichen twitched his mouth, then touched the phone in his pocket. I can't guarantee that I'll be able to find her soul, but I will do my best. Bang. You knelt down again. If you can save Ling then my life is yours. Stop. What's going on with this bro? He knelt down just because of a disagreement. Doesn't he know that there's gold under a man's knees? Yi Zichen interrupted Yu's words of loyalty and said helplessly, I don't want your life. I don't want your life. I just hope that you won't kill me for no reason in the future. I'm a coward, so I'm worried if I always do that. As for whether or not I can get it back, that's a question in the future. If I really can, then I'll be satisfied if you don't cause trouble for me with a grateful heart. No matter what the result is, I won't cause trouble for you. You stood up from the ground with Yi Zichen's support and replied with bright eyes. He wasn't a person without a conscience. On the contrary, he was very emotional. However, he could only toss aside his so-called conscience for Ling. That's for the best. Yi Zichen shrugged with a smile, then took out a checkbook from his pocket and wrote a string of numbers on it before handing it to you. Don't live under the bridge in the future. Use this money to rent a house. How? How can I accept that? You raised his hand to refuse. Yi Zichen raised his hand and shoved the check over. I'm not some goody two-shoes. I'm not a goody two-shoes. Just take this money as a loan from me. I think that with your capital, you'll be able to easily return it to me in the future. You received the check solemnly after Yi Zichen's persuasion. Yi Zichen glanced at Yu's pale face. It was clear that fourth hose punch had injured him. In a while, eat the pill I gave you. It will help with your recovery. I'm going to leave it for Ling. What's the point of leaving it? Yi Zichen smiled wryly. I can casually give you one. Do you think it's something rare? When your friend truly recovers, I'll give it to you. What's her name? Zhang Lingling. All right, then wait for my news. If I find her soul, I'll contact you. Yi Zichen let out a long sigh after he left the bridge. He had finally gotten rid of this ticking time bomb. With the protection of the Ho brothers and Soul Pearly Yuan, he really wasn't too worried that you would pose a threat to him. But he couldn't resist this brother's perseverance. Moreover, he had bodyguards, but his relatives and friends didn't. If he became deranged and acted against his family, in the end, it was best to subdue Zhou. Yu, who was under the bridge, gazed at Yi Zichen's departing figure, then looked down at the check in his hand with a slightly moved expression. At this moment, the phone in his pocket rang. He took out a second-hand phone that was worth tens of yuan. When he saw the caller ID, he lowered his head to look at Zhang Lingling, who was lying on the ground, and put the phone to his ear. Wait. He squinted his eyes and sat on a park bench, lost in thought as he stared at his phone screen. Those well wishes and the group of people who desperately wanted to add him as a friend were automatically ignored by him. If he wanted to find Zhang Lingling's soul, he had to start with the people of the underworld. Considering the intimacy between them, white impermanence was his only choice. However, he did not touch her immediately. At this time, she should still be resting. Swish, swish. Lu Jing had appeared out of nowhere and was standing behind him, pouting and making weird noises. Yi Zichen turned around and rolled his eyes. What are you doing now? I won't do anything. Lu Qing winked mischievously as she floated over to his side and sat down. I just saw that Zhang Lingling looks pretty good. Are we going to have another harem? Are you an idiot? Yi Zichen drooped his dead fish eyes and looked at her. Why do I only pick up every single one I see? Just how much love do I have? Even if I don't consider Su Yin and the others' feelings, I still have to think about my old waist. Waist? Lu Jing revealed a confused expression. When she noticed Yi Zichen's slightly ambiguous gaze, she bit her lips, then raised her hand and slapped him. Shameless. Stop. Catch the thief. Brat, stop right there. At that moment, the roars of several men suddenly sounded out near the park. Yi Zichen looked up and saw a panicked young man holding a lady's bag in his hands. The young man would occasionally turn around and look behind him as he ran as fast as the wind. Behind him was a group of men who were chasing after him while shouting and yelling. Do people like to help others so much now? Yi Zichen scratched his head and stood up from the bench. The thief, who was looking behind him, bumped into Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen had already activated Unbreakable Body, so when he bumped into him, it was as if he had bumped into a metal board, causing him to be confused. You're not learning good things at such a young age. Why are you stealing someone's bag? The young man seemed to be in his early 20s. He had delicate features and didn't seem like someone evil. Yi Zichen let out a sigh of relief when he looked at the men who were shouting angrily to catch the thief, then took the bag from the young man's hands. I'm taking the bag. I'll pretend like I never saw you. The young man looked at Yi Zichen blankly, then immediately ran away with a look of gratitude in his eyes. Why did you let him run? Are you with that thief? Why did you let him go just now? The men who were catching the thief also hurried over. When they saw the fleeing thief and the bag in Yi Zichen's hands, they immediately questioned him. What are you doing? Here, this bag is for you. Go and claim credit. Yi Zichen handed the bag to one of the men. He had thought that they would escort the bag back to its owner, but what he didn't expect was that, give it to me, give it to me. All of you let go. My big bro is Big Bro Scar of this area. If you fight with me for it, then I'll get my big bro to kill you. F***CK off. I'm a police officer in this area. Why don't you ask your brother to come and try? Yi Zichen stood on the side with a look of shock on his face as the group of men continuously fought over the bags while he watched on in shock. What the hell? Why did they start fighting? Just as Yi Zichen saw that the bag was about to be torn apart by them, he saw Sun Yaij catch up from behind while panting heavily. After the group of men saw Sun Yaij, it was as if they were injected with chicken blood, and they fought even harder. What made people even more speechless was that it was unknown who took the initiative to kick who, but in an instant, the group of people became a pot of porridge. Sun Yaij also froze on the spot when she saw that. Yi Zichen walked over to her side. What's wrong? That bag is yours? Yi Zichen. A blush appeared on Sun Yi's face as she bit her lips and nodded. Chapter 227. Do you think I have the talent to become a first-rate player? The bag-snatching war was in full swing. Sun Yaij crossed her arms and lightly bit her lips. She frowned slightly as she looked at the group of people who were fighting passionately. Don't go. I think it's dangerous. To be honest, Yi Zichen's heart raced when he saw how fiercely they fought. Even if there was an imbalance in the ratio of men to women, and Sun Yaij was indeed one of the prettiest girls, it shouldn't be to this extent, right? Even if he managed to snatch it, would he be able to treat him to a meal? He knew Sun Yaij's character very well. Not to mention eating, even sending her home would be difficult. Don't panic. Wait here for a moment. Yi Zichen licked his lips, then slowly moved closer to the fight. If he really wanted to fight, then these people definitely wouldn't be able to stop him. At that moment, several unidentified objects flew out from the crowd. Yi Zichen picked them up from the ground. Makeup box. Car bag. There was also the strap of the bag. It seems like we won't be able to snatch it back. Yi Zichen picked up the 3 items. Sun Yaij took a glance at them, then received the card bag and makeup box with a smile. That's enough. That smile was very warm, as if she was in a bad mood because of the bag. Good, you guys are good. If you have the guts, then wait here for me. Big brother, send some people over. Calling you brother? Oomph. Captain, there's a brawl here. Please dispatch the police. Both of you, stop pretending. Neither of you can leave today. Yi Zichen glanced over, then raised his eyebrows towards Sun Yaij. What's going on? Let's retreat first. They strolled side by side on the commercial street. Fortunately, it wasn't particularly hot today. A cool breeze blew past, giving them an indescribable sense of comfort. As far as the eye could see, girls carrying shopping bags could be seen everywhere. Their eyes were brimming with happiness. They were indeed very happy, but their wallets were crying. Walking together with Sun Yaij did give him a lot of face, but at the same time, the most important thing was that she was especially quiet. She was so quiet that if he didn't find a topic, she wouldn't talk at all. In order to lighten the atmosphere between them, Yi Zichen pursed his lips and smiled. Ah, all right, class rep. Where did you go just now? How did you get your bag stolen? Me. From Sun Yi's expression, one could tell that she was very nervous at this moment. She bit her lip a few times before saying, I have a friend who wants to be an actress, so I went with her. Actors? Even someone who isn't a professional can become one. An extra, Sun Yi smiled gently, starting from an extra and joining the crew. Yi Zichen didn't know what to say. Sun Yi tilted her head and glanced at him, then bit her lips and said, thank you for just now. Her voice was extremely soft. If it weren't for Yi Zichen's good hearing, he might not have been able to hear it. No need to thank me. Just don't hold a grudge against me. Yi Zichen smiled wryly. I snatched that bag just now, but I gave it back to them. If you don't give it to them, maybe your bag won't be damaged. No worries, it's not some branded bag. Sun Yi was very open-minded. She always had a warm smile on her face, giving people a strange sense of intimacy. However, the makeup case and card holder in her hands were clearly very inconvenient to carry. Class rep Sun, come with me. At the entrance of a certain luxury goods flagship store. What did you bring me here for? Sun Yi stood outside the door and did not walk in. This sort of place wasn't something that her family could support. Of course it's to buy a bag for you. I'm also the reason why your bag broke. No need to trouble yourself. I'll just buy it the next time I go to the night market. Sun Yi shook her head like a rattle drum. Sun Yi shook her head like a rattle drum. Although she had never been to such a place before, she could roughly guess that the price of the bags here was definitely very high. Since we're here, we'll just take a look. Without saying anything else, Yi Zichen grabbed Sun Yi's wrist and walked into the flagship store. Sir, young lady, welcome. Yi Zichen nodded towards the clerk warmly. Thank you, sir. We want to see the bag. Yi Zichen nodded towards her. Please come with me. Not long later, the clerk brought them to the branded bag area and started to introduce various types of bags. See which one you like? Yi Zichen tilted his head, then noticed that Sun Yi's entire face was as red as an apple. Her breathing was rapid, while the pulse on her wrist was beating rapidly. Can you let go of me? Sun Yi's voice even trembled slightly. Only then did Yi Zichen let go of her with a coy smile, then said apologetically, Sorry, hurry up and take a look. Sorry, quick, which one do you like? Yi Zichen swept his gaze over the bags on the counter. All women like these, and Sun Yi was no exception. When she saw these beautiful bags, her eyes became brighter and brighter, but when she looked at the prices below, so expensive. Beauty, the bags in our store are all genuine high-end brands, so they are naturally a bit more expensive. But since your boyfriend doesn't care, then don't save money for him. Zoom. Sun Yi's face, which had just turned slightly better, instantly turned bright red once more. He's not my boyfriend, Sun Yi replied softly with a red face. The clerk blanked out for a moment, then laughed softly. If he's not your boyfriend, then he's your pursuer. You're so lucky. Sun Yi seemed like she still wanted to explain, but at that moment, a middle-aged man in casual clothes walked over from the side with a pretty girl around 20 years old. Help me wrap that bag up. Thank you, Director Wong. The girl replied greedily. Sun Yi turned her head towards the voice. Lilia. When she noticed the man beside the girl, Sun Yi's expression changed even more. Leah, why are you Yi? The greedy-looking girl's expression also stiffened when she saw Sun Yi. On the other hand, a hint of greed flashed across the eyes of the middle-aged man beside her. He raised his eyebrows with a smile. Isn't this classmate's son? Director Wong. Sun Yi nodded politely, but her gaze remained on Liya. Director Wong noticed her gaze, then removed his hand from Liya's waist with a smile. I met Lil Li on the way. I met Xiao Li on the road. Oh yeah, why didn't you go in during the interview? I never thought about becoming an actress. I just went with Lilia. That's a pity. With your talent, as long as you understand a bit, you can definitely become popular. As he spoke, Director Wong reached his hand towards Sun Yi, wanting to grab her hand. How about it? Join my crew. I'll help you become an A-lister. Slap. Halfway through, Yi Zichen reached out and held Director Wong's hand with a smile. Chapter 228. Sweetheart, I've come to find you. This is A hint of displeasure flashed across Director Wong's eyes, but he still maintained his warm smile and asked politely, I am a promising young man with a dream. Since I was young, I have wished to become a character on TV. Director Wong, do you think I have the talent to become a first-rate movie star? Yi Zichen's eyes were filled with anticipation. His acting skills were so good that he wanted to win an award. Director Wong was very annoyed. He wanted to shake Sun Yi's hand. What's with this man? You're an acting major student? No. If you're not, then it'll be a bit more difficult. Our crew is recruiting people. Even the extras with lines need some acting skills. Oh. Only then did Yi Zichen reveal a smile of understanding. Then his lips curled up, while his eyes were filled with mockery. But Sun Yi is my classmate. She also doesn't have any acting skills. Are Director Wong's words bullish asterisk T? Yi Zichen's hand gradually tightened, but his face still remained warm. Director Wong wanted to say something more, but the pain in his palm caused his eyebrows to knit together. He tried to pull his hand out, but Yi Zichen's hand was tightly wrapped around his. Let go. Didn't Director Wong just want to shake hands? Why did you let go? What? You don't want to shake hands anymore. Yi Zichen continued to smile. When he saw Director Wong's face gradually turn the color of a pig's liver, he forcefully shook off his hand. I really don't know what to do with being a shitty director. Let me warn you, don't have any ideas about Sun Yij anymore. Otherwise, I'll make it so that you can't survive in Bingsheng. As soon as he finished speaking, he took the bag that Sun Yij had taken a liking to at the beginning and handed it to the shop assistant who was standing at the side, still not understanding the situation. Help me wrap it up. Thank you. At the same time, Yi Zichen pulled Sun Yij's arm with a smile. Let's go. Yij. At that moment, Leah bit her lips while a hint of struggle surfaced in her eyes. Yi Zichen turned around and shook his head with a smile. Since you chose this path, don't mess with Yij anymore, if you truly treat her as a friend. Sun Yij's mood was very low after leaving the luxury goods flagship store. Are you still thinking about that classmate of yours? Zichen, Lillian, you don't have to be afraid to say it. She asked the director to sleep with her. Maybe you'll see her on TV in a while. Of course, you might not see it. Yi Zichen replied mercilessly. Actually, Xiaoyi is not that kind of person. Sun Yij seemed to want to defend him. However, Yi Zichen merely nodded after meeting her gaze. That has nothing to do with me. I won't marry her in the future. So what if she slept with how many people? Maybe she has some difficulties. My dear class monitor, should I say that you are fake and naive, or should I say that you are really kind and have difficulties? Yi Zichen's eyes were filled with disdain. It's undeniable that there are some unspoken rules in the entertainment industry, but there are still big shots who rely on their own abilities to become famous. In the face of fate, she didn't choose to work hard. Instead, she chose to be opportunistic. Now, you're saying that she has difficulties? It's best if you don't interact with her in the future. Some people will do anything to achieve their goals. I don't know your friend very well, but I'll keep my suspicions about her. All right. Sun Yij actually had the same thoughts as Yi Zichen. However, Xiaoyu was her good sister, so she always wanted to find an excuse to help her out. However, she knew very clearly in her heart whether or not her friend did something unspoken. I'll return this bag to you when I earn money in the future. Sun Yij bit her lips, then held the bag towards Yi Zichen and said, There's no need for that, right? There's no need for that. I'll compensate you. My bag isn't that expensive. I'll pay you back. Yi Zichen shrugged helplessly when he saw Sun Yij's stubborn look. All right, then I'll wait for class monitor to earn big money before returning it to me. After Yi Zichen sent Sun Yij home, Lu Jing counted with her fingers and muttered, Harem +1. Is there a need for you to stare at me every day? Yi Zichen revealed a helpless expression. Lu Jing pouted and snorted. I like it. I just want to know just how many girls a scum like you is going to harm. However, just as Yi Zichen and Lu Jing bickered at Bingsheng International Airport, a plane had just landed. A tall red-haired girl with aviator sunglasses stood at the arrival hall while dragging her suitcase. She smiled as she looked at the people around her. This is the modern realm? Sweetheart, I'm coming to find you. When the enemy's base was destroyed, Yi Zichen's dorm was filled with laughter. The chances of winning are really different with Yi Zi here. Ha ha ha, Diamond. His roommates were all very happy, especially Zhang Rui, who was promoted to Diamond Goalie in Sector 1. It seemed like she was going to use this level to date guys. Goalie, what's there to be happy about? Zhu Yinbai said with a bit of jealousy. He was currently the lowest level among his roommates, Platinum 3. So what if I'm a goalie? Isn't a goalie better than you? Zhang Rui acted like a villain. Zhu Yunbai rolled his eyes at him, then walked over to Yi Zichen's side. Fifth bro, play solo with me when you have time. OL5 is busy. He doesn't have time for you. Zhang Rui snickered on the side. Zhang Rui snickered on the side. Zhu Yunbai raised his fist towards him, then looked towards Yi Zichen with anticipation. Let's talk about it later, if there's a chance. Huh? Hearing that, Zhang Rui held his stomach and laughed loudly. I told you OL5 didn't have time. You're an idiot, right? TSK, fifth bro said there's a chance. Zhu Yinbai also replied without showing any weakness. The two of them looked like they were about to start fighting. The dorm's boss, Kong Peng, stood up from the chair and stretched lazily. Stop blabbering. We've been working for an entire day. Let's go out and eat. Yeezy, are you coming? At that moment, Lu Jing, who was playing with her phone on Yi Zichen's bed, suddenly flew to his side and looked at the girl. I won't be going. You guys go. After sending his roommates away, Yi Zichen pursed his lips and shrugged. My lady, what instructions do you have? Someone's looking for you on your phone. Lu Jing said with a bit of annoyance. She was at a crucial moment when she was reading the book. Those deities are looking for me again? No need to pay attention to them. Most of the deities that were looking for him recently were either wishing him and Chong well or wanting to know the inside story. Yi Zichen didn't want to cause trouble for himself, so he decided not to look at anyone's news. Are you sure you're really not going to look? Lu Jing pouted, then blinked with a smile. It seems like the person looking for you is CLA. Who? CLA. Zoom. Chapter 229. Big guy. You reincarnated? Hey, I have business with you. Reply. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes and couldn't help but retort when he felt CLA's extremely arrogant tone. From the looks of this brat's tone, he might have exploded if Lu Jing didn't bring the phone back. Yi Zichen, calm down. You still have things that you need his help with. Yi Zichen repeated it a few times in his heart before replying. Here. I knew you would definitely be here. CLA's words were filled with indescribable certainty as he said, I've broken the transformer you gave me recently, and I'm a little tired of playing with Fuji's puzzle. Give us a new one. Are you sick? Yi Zichen truly couldn't help at the moment he saw the message. Who does he think he is? C'est bien? What's with that arrogant tone? Does he really think that I'm his subordinate? I owe him something just because I want it? How are you talking to me like that? CLA was clearly annoyed. Yi Zichen curled his lips and said with disdain in his eyes. So what if I'm talking to you like that? Yi Zichen sent the message, then quickly replied. Sending you the transformer last time was a deal between the two of us. Now, we don't owe each other anything. What did you mean by that? Should I be yours? Am I your subordinate? Don't be so angry. Lu Jing patted Yi Zichen's shoulders. What are you arguing with him for? If you're unhappy, then just ignore him. Actually, I rather dislike him as well. It's just annoying. Yi Zichen rubbed his hair and looked at the chat with CLA, who had yet to reply. Doesn't the CF family care about fair trade? You want a transformer and the jigsaw puzzle, sure. What are you going to use to exchange with me? What do you want? CLA pouted and typed on the screen as he replied. Help me find a ghost. There's only one soul. Her name is Zhang Lingling. If you can help me find her, then I'll give you the transformer and the jigsaw puzzle. No problem. This was way too easy for the descendants of the CF family. As long as it was a ghost, there was nothing that the CF family couldn't find. I will find that soul for you as soon as possible. Contact me then. Ding dong. Your intimacy with level 1 Ghost Messenger CF Lei has increased by 100. Current intimacy, 100. Ding dong. Intimacy level increased. Current intimacy level, friendly. The intimacy level had increased just like that. And this kid was a level 1 ghost emissary. This was a higher level than the white impermanence. Xia Bayan must have helped him. Yi Zichen retorted bitterly in his heart. Lu Jing, who stood on the side, jumped in front of Yi Zichen with a giggle and stared at the phone in his hand. Can you return my phone to me now? This girl was really addicted to reading books. The next day, just as Yi Zichen was sleeping soundly on his bed, he suddenly heard footsteps in the dorm, as well as a hurried voice. He opened his eyes in a daze and saw that his brothers in the dormitory had woken up. What time? He took out his phone and looked at the time. It was only 8 o'clock. Why are you up so early? I'm going to class. Yi Zi, don't sleep anymore. Wake up quickly, Zhang Rui urged as he put on his vest. He was dumbfounded. Yi Zichen even suspected that he hadn't woken up yet. Zhang Rui actually woke up so early for class. Yi Zichen swept his gaze over the others. Kong Peng and Bai Yu were continuously changing their clothes and posing in front of the mirror, while Zhu Yunbai also ran around the room in slippers with a look of excitement. Boss Kong is going as well. Bai Yu doesn't seem to be from our major, right? What is Zhu Yunbai doing there as well? Slap. At that moment, a phone flew towards him. At the same time, Zhang Rui also spoke up. See for yourself. Breaking news. Polytechnic University's school beauty is going to be reshuffled. At 9 o'clock last night, this editor received the news. Yi Zichen took a few simple glances, then casually chucked the phone to the side. No wonder the guys in the dorm were so excited. It was because a transfer student came over. Yi Zichen took a glance at the photo below. He couldn't see the person's face clearly due to the dim light. Is there a need to? Isn't it just a transfer student? Are you blind? Can't you see the title above? The school beauty is about to be reshuffled. What does this mean? The transfer student is a beauty. Zhang Rui, who finished putting on his clothes, rolled his eyes. Meanwhile, Zhu Yunbai, who was the youngest in the dorm, spoke up faintly. Don't mention the school beauty to fifth bro. The number 1 school beauty is already in his hands. How could he care about this new transfer student? The moment he said that, everyone in the dorm immediately agreed with him. Yi Zichen laughed dryly when he felt the strange gazes of the other people in the dorm, then climbed up from the bed. Then, I'm going to get up right now and admire the glory of the transfer student. You can admire her, but we have to say it first. Kong Peng, who was covered in muscles, walked over in tight clothes that showed off his figure. Kong Peng, who was covered in muscles, walked over in tight clothes that showed off his figure. He kept clenching his fists and said, You already have 2 campus bells by your side. Don't fight with your brothers, okay? Yeah, easy. You have enough women by your side. Leave a way out for your brothers, but you also agreed on the side. Yi Zichen, who was sitting on the bed, looked at the people of the United Front and smiled wryly. There's no need for you guys to be like this, right? You haven't even seen her before. What's more, there are millions of young people in our Polytechnic University. Are you sure you guys can? However, no one was moved by that at all as they replied in unison. No matter if we can or not, we have to control you, the school beauty harvester first. Who the F *CK gave me a new nickname? You were able to get close to the 4 school beauties at the same time and even flirt with the 2 school beauties, Su Yin and Xia Kiki. If you aren't the school beauty harvester, then what are you? Zhang Rui's face was filled with annoyance. If it wasn't because they were roommates for 2 years, he really wanted to beat Yi Zichen up. Bai Yu also nodded, while Kong Peng grabbed Yi Zichen's arm and begged. OL5, bros have eaten enough dog food. This time, let bros show some dog food, okay? All right, I understand. Yi Zichen shrugged helplessly. Since he woke up rather late, the people in the dorm didn't wait for him and hurriedly went to the classroom to get seats. After he slowly packed up, Lu Jing flew over with her hands behind her back and teased, Hurry up and grab a seat. Otherwise, you won't be able to see the goddess later. Go to the side and wait. TSK, you only know how to be mean to me. The little ghost girl twitched her mouth in annoyance. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes, then hurried towards the school building. Hey! At that moment, a call sounded out from behind Yi Zichen. Chapter 230. Transfer student. The girl smiled sweetly, then stood on her tiptoes with her hands behind her back and pouted towards Yi Zichen. She wore a pair of blue denim shorts and a white t-shirt. Her fiery red hair was like a flame. Big guy, you've reincarnated. I nearly didn't recognize you. You're shorter and whiter than before, but I like you even more now. The girl wasn't particularly tall. She was around 165 meters. It wasn't strange for someone of her height to call Yi Zichen big guy. But what the hell was that last sentence? Reincarnated. Yi Zichen was completely shocked. Oh, your memories haven't awakened yet. What a shame. I'm already here. The girl pouted her lips at him and said, Never mind. We'll meet again. Bye-bye. Yi Zichen scratched his head in confusion as she skipped away. What the hell? When Yi Zichen arrived at the classroom, it was the first time he saw so many students in a professional class in his 2 years at Polytechnic University. The classroom of 200 people was completely filled, and even the hallway was filled with people. When he looked around, it was all the same. Guys, is there a need to be like this? Yi, hurry up and come over. We saved a seat for you. Zhang Rui and company waved towards him. Hearing that, Yi Zichen walked over and raised his eyebrows. There's a lot of competition. Tisk, just them. Zhang Rui revealed a look of disdain, then glanced at the people with green eyes in the classroom. I don't care about them, but I'm really curious about what that girl looks like. Ta-ta-ta. The clear sound of high heels sounded out from outside the classroom. In an instant, the noisy classroom became so quiet that even the sound of a pin dropping on the floor could be heard clearly. The first to walk into the classroom was the kind killer, Mu Jinglei. When she saw the people in the classroom, a wisp of a smile appeared on her pretty face as she said, Is our major so popular now? Everyone in the classroom laughed dryly. At this moment, Mu Jinglei also spoke towards the door. Come in. Feel the fiery passion of our male students in Polytechnic University. Everyone looked towards the door of the classroom. Not long later, a red-haired girl in shorts and a white t-shirt walked in. Hello, everyone. Ugh. Yi Zichen, who sat in the middle, nearly spat. Why was this girl the transfer student? Yi, you already have school bells, Sue. Don't be so excited. Zhang Rui rolled his eyes at him. But this girl is really cute. I like her. Brother, how about we compete fairly? Bai chimed in. Agreed. Seconded. He was speechless as he looked at these fellows. They had only just met, and now they were going to compete fairly. Let me introduce myself. Our male classmates from the Polytechnic University are very enthusiastic. Mu Jinglei chuckled at the side. The girl also smiled until her eyes were like crescent moons. Hello, everyone. My name is Lu. My surname is Liu, and my first name is Liu. 20 years old, Pisces, single. Girl, what kind of male classmates do you like? Someone in the classroom shouted. Me? I like what I like. This question isn't cute at all. Wow, what a character. So cute. This girl is so cute. The classroom was filled with discussions, while the eyes of Yi Zichen's roommates were filled with hearts. Lu is so cute. All right, be quiet. Mu Jinglei frowned as she looked at the chaotic classroom. In an instant, the entire classroom became incomparably silent. It couldn't be helped. The name Gentle Female Killer wasn't just for show. Seeing that the classroom had quietened down, Mu Jinglei nodded in satisfaction and smiled at Lu. Classmate Lu, you can do it. Is there anyone here willing to give up their seat to this female classmate? There's no need. I found a spot I like. Lu walked towards Yi Zichen on her tiptoes, ignoring the shouts of the male students in the classroom. Yezi, all of Yi Zichen's roommates were excited and hoped that the girl could sit beside them. However, Yi Zichen had a feeling that the girl was coming for him. This student, me? Hearing the cute voice in his ear, Zhang Rui felt as if he had won the lottery. His entire face was filled with indescribable joy. Yes, can you give your position to me? No problem. Zhang Rui stood up excitedly. Lu nodded towards him with a smile, then sat beside Yi Zichen. Hey, big guy, we meet again. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Several tens of hostile gazes looked over from all directions, and the one with the most obvious hostility was Zhang Rui. F*CK. The school beauty harvester attacked again. Originally, he thought that he could earn some affability points by sitting here. F*CK. He F*King gave it to someone else. His other roommates also looked at Yi Zichen as if they were going to eat him alive. Ha! Hello. Yi nodded towards her with a dry smile. This is seriously. I told you that we would meet again. Lulu's eyes squinted like crescent moons. Lulu's eyes narrowed like crescent moons, and she said with a smile, "Do you have a girlfriend now? If not, then what do you think of me? Can I be your girlfriend?" A wave of dog food was mercilessly shoved into the mouths of everyone in the classroom. However, there was a saying that was right. Where there was exploitation, there would be resistance. I can't take it anymore. Just as the gentle killer went out, someone shouted in the classroom. After a while, a muscular man wearing a black vest walked over. Lulu, don't be fooled by this man. What did he lie to me about? Lulu tilted her head and muttered in confusion. He didn't say anything. It's this kid. He's called Yi Zichin, a famous school beauty harvester in Polytechnic University. The 4 school beauties are all very close to him, and the top 2 school beauties are even more ambiguous with him. Grandson, don't King come here to find trouble. At this moment, Kong Peng stood up from the side. Even though they were angry at Yi Zichin, it wasn't enough for people from other dorms to point fingers. What? Did I say something wrong? The muscular man's eyes widened. At this time, Lulu, who was sitting on the chair, pursed her lips and nodded. I see. That's right, Lulu. You mustn't fall into his clutches again. The 4 campus bells are a good example. The muscular man continuously nodded on the side, while revealing his biceps. Lulu, if you feel like he lied to you, then I'll help you teach him a lesson. Unexpectedly. Big guy, you're doing pretty well. The corner of Lulu's mouth raised slightly, while no hint of unhappiness could be seen on her face. Chapter 231. Previous life. Everyone was instantly shocked. Nobody would have thought that the trusted school beauty, who had just transferred to Polytechnic University, would be taken away by the school beauty harvester in such a random manner. Even Yi Zichin looked at the girl in confusion. Yi Zichin, you and I are irreconcilable. Someone shouted in the classroom, causing everyone else in the classroom to shout as well. Not long later, only 10-odd students remained in the originally packed classroom. Yi Zichin's roommates also smiled wryly. Kong Peng even let out a soft sigh, then patted Yi Zichin's shoulder. Bless you. Yi Zichin's roommates left the classroom in disappointment. Lulu also revealed a faint smile on her face, but she still tilted her head as she watched them leave. Why did they all leave? Girl, you truly kill people without a trace. Yi Zichin let out a long sigh towards Lulu, then stood up from his seat and left. Hey, don't go, big guy. Not long later, the students in the classroom also left in 2s and 3s. When Mu Jinglei returned from outside and saw the empty classroom, where did they all go? At Polytechnic University's field, Yi Zichin sat on the grass with an unconcealable helplessness on his face. Girl, what's going on with you? The surrounding male students would occasionally look over with hostile gazes. Lulu, who sat beside him and used her hand to block the sun, tilted her head and put on a cute expression. What's going on with you? Say, what's going on with you? What did you say? Yi Zichin turned his body towards her. Why did you say that in class just now? Also, can you stop following me? Because that's what I think in my heart. I just want to follow you, can't I? I really am. Yi Zichin stood up in annoyance. Since I can't offend her, I can just hide. However, he had only taken a few steps when Lulu followed him like a shadow, not leaving his side for even an inch. Just what do you want? Why are you being so mean to me? Lulu frowned, while her bright eyes became misty. You weren't like this in your previous life. You liked following me the most in your previous life. Even if I chased you away, you still wanted to follow me. This time, it's my turn to follow you, yet you're still yelling at me. If I knew, I wouldn't have come looking for you. Lulu frowned, looking as if she would cry at any moment. Yi Zichin was stunned, then looked meaningfully at Lulu. What about you? Lulu frowned, causing Yi Zichin to suddenly feel like his brain wasn't enough. In his previous life, do people really have past lives? Yi Zichin looked at Lulu in confusion, then sat on the grass and asked curiously, Do I really have a past life? Of course. Lulu sat down next to him and said, I followed your scent from your past life to find you, but you're not cute at all in this life. Really? Don't you remember anything? Lulu raised her eyebrows. When she saw Yi Zichen's confused look, she twitched her mouth. I told you, you can become a deity if you eat that inner core, but you refused. The reincarnation of you mortals is really troublesome. Every single one of Lulu's words toppled Yi Zichen's understanding of the world, even though his heart was telling him not to continue asking, as that might cause unnecessary trouble for himself. Yet, he still couldn't help but want to know everything. What kind of person was I in my previous life? You. Lulu smiled, while a faint blush appeared on her face. In your previous life, you were very cute, very smart, very responsible, and very heroic. Is that so? Yi Zichen was slightly stunned. It seems like I was pretty amazing in my previous life. But why do I feel like I lost to my previous life? But you had a lot of female friends by your side back then. After you died, some of them seem to have reincarnated with you. I'm not as good as them here, but I actually want to reincarnate with you. But Lulu bit her lips. After a long time, she suddenly stood up and pressed her nose against Yi Zichen's, while staring straight at him. You have to believe me. There's a reason why I didn't reincarnate with you. Gulp. Yi Zichen gulped. He was so close that he could even feel her breathing and smell her faint body fragrance. His heart started to beat faster. At that very moment, Yi Zichen, a roar filled with endless anger, sounded out. Hearing that, Yi Zichen's body trembled, while Lulu also looked behind her. Huh, what are you for? Xia Kiki put her hands on her waist, while Su Yin, who was squinting her eyes and hugging her shoulders, stood behind her. Don't you know that Yi Zichen is my and Su Yan's boyfriend? You actually learned to seduce other people's boyfriends at such a young age. You don't recognize me anymore? Lulu tilted her head and pointed at herself. Hearing that, Xia Kiki rolled her eyes. Who wants to know you? With that, she grabbed Yi Zichen's arm. She's just messing around when I'm not watching you. She's only fooling around outside when she's not keeping an eye on you. Hurry up and leave. You're not allowed to have any contact with this woman in the future. Seeing that Yi Zichen and company were about to leave, Lulu frowned and wanted to follow. Don't follow us. Don't think that we're easy to bully. If you piss me off, I'll fight as well. Xia Kiki glared at her fiercely. Only then did Lulu twitch her mouth and mutter, Why are you so fierce? I wasn't like this even when you tried to steal him from me in my previous life. Then, a hint of sadness surfaced on Xia Kiki's face, while a scene that she would remember for the rest of her life surfaced in her mind. Su Yan, Xiao Yuli, stop. A woman who was dressed like a rich family ran forward while holding her skirt with her right hand. Two women stood in front of her. The two women were so dazzling that even she could not match up to them. Lulu, what did you come for? Didn't you decide not to be with him anymore? Xiao Yuli raised her eyebrows. There was a black door behind her and Su Yan. Are you guys really going to reincarnate with him? What? A cold reply sounded out from Su Yan's mouth. Her cat-like eyes carried an indescribable smile as she spoke. Can't I? No. Why do you two have to reincarnate with a mortal like this? What do you two get? He won't have the memories of his previous life after reincarnation. Didn't you guys tell me personally last time that when he doesn't remember you, you will suffer by his side? Su Yin and Xia Kiki smiled non-committally, while Su Yin and Xia Kiki smiled. But if we don't follow him, we will suffer even more. Indeed, he doesn't know us in these few lives, but one day he will remember us. You, who are lucky in this life, should understand his uniqueness better than us. The future you will regret it. Su Yin and Xia Kiki looked at each other and smiled, then walked into the black door at the same time. Chapter 232. A Soul Found. Yi Zichen, you're truly amazing. A new transfer student. I didn't even get to know all the students in the class, and you already took care of her. Xia Kiki wrinkled her nose in displeasure. Yi Zichen scratched his head and said, How'd you two know about this? It had happened in less than half an hour. Even the school's gossip program couldn't come up with anything. The two of them weren't students of this faculty, so how did they know about it? Also, Polytechnic University is so big. How do they find me? Heh, Susu and I have more fans in Polytechnic University than you can imagine. Your every move is within our sight. I'll tell you the truth, it was a sports student in a black tank top who told us. All of a sudden, a figure appeared in Yi Zichen's mind. This grandson really knows how to play dirty tricks. What? You're not happy that someone reported you? Xiaokiki smiled, then turned to Su Yan. Susu, tell me how to deal with him. Him. A hint of indifference surfaced in Su Yan's eyes. Let him fend for himself. With that, the two of them turned around and left without paying any further attention to Yi Zichen. As a man, you should chase after them in this sort of situation. What they get angry? Lu Qing pouted as she watched the two leave. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes in annoyance. However, Yi Zichen rolled his eyes in annoyance. It seems like you still don't understand them. They went shopping, ding-dong. Ding-dong. At that moment, the phone in Yi Zichen's pocket rang. He took it out. CLA. You wanted me to find Zhang Lingling, right? CLA. I found that soul. Yi Zichen was shocked when he saw the message. It's really easy to have people in the government. I found it so quickly. Are you sure you found the right one? You didn't lie to me, right? Why would I lie to you? CLA sat beside a stone table in the garden, while a weird girl, who always had a smile on her face, stood beside him. From time to time, the girl would pat CLA's body, but no one in the garden dared to stop her. Hurry up and bring the transformer and the jigsaw puzzle over. Then take this girl away. I'm about to be tortured to death by her. What was going on? Zhang Lingling's spirit could actually torture CLA to such an extent. Wasn't that brat the last to deal with the ghost? You're not lying to me, right? Big brother, I'm not lying to you. I'm begging you to come and take this female ghost away. I'm really scared. All right, then I'll go buy some items. How will I get to your place when the time comes? Just tell me when you're done. I'll open the door for you. All right. Lu Jing put the phone into her pocket and asked curiously. Xiebian's grandson was killed by a ghost? Who knows? Yi Zichen shrugged. That brat might be lying to me. How about you stop following me? No. Lu Jing's face was filled with stubbornness. Yi Zichen couldn't help but smile when he saw her pout, then rubbed her head. All right, all right. All right, follow me then. But if there's any danger, remember to hide in the Dragon Eye. At the same time, in CLA's residence. Hey, little Lei, do you really want to send me away? The girl frowned when she saw the message, then put her hands on her waist. Great lady, I beg you, can you be more obedient here? Someone is going to take you away later. It's best if we don't meet again. CLA's face frowned like an eggplant. This is so weird. As Xiebian's grandson, there was no one in the younger generation that had a higher rank than him. Level 1 Ghost Messenger. That was a level that many ghosts could not reach in their entire lives. However, when he brought this great lady back, he noticed this great lady's rank was higher than his. Not only was he unable to control her, he even had to be harmed by her. Little Lei, this isn't right. Are you not happy playing with me? The girl pouted unhappily. CLA smiled coyly and did not reply. Not long later, the little girl twitched her mouth and floated to Bu-er's side. Zoom! Bu-er shrunk his neck and instantly ran onto CLA's body, while his lifeless eyes were filled with fear towards the girl. You guys aren't fun at all. The little ghost girl pouted. Why did you guys pick me up if you're not going to play with me? I was rather happy at the Yama Kings of the 10 halls. Do you think I would pick you up if I knew it would be like this? CLA muttered on the side. Zhang Lingling raised her eyebrows. Little Lei, what did you say just now? No, I didn't say anything. CLA quickly waved his hands. However, a devilish smile surfaced on Zhang Lingling's face. No, I clearly heard you say bad things about me just now. I'm going to punish you. Not long after, a series of mournful screams rang out from the back garden. What's going on with CLA? Why isn't he replying? Yi Zichen stood at the entrance of the mall and frowned when he saw that CLA did not reply. Is this grandson messing with me? Thinking that, Yi Zichen couldn't help but send 10-odd messages. I opened the door for you. Come in. A reply suddenly appeared on the screen of his phone. Yi Zichen turned around and saw a black gate standing behind him. From the reactions of the other passers-by, It seems like they can't see the gate. Yi Zichen licked his lips, then walked towards the black gate. Granted, the moment he entered, Yi Zichen heard Ciel Lei's endless screams, while a female ghost chased after him and hit him with bell-like giggles. What's going on? Yi Zichen swept his gaze over the guards in the garden. They acted like they didn't see anything and didn't try to stop him. All of a sudden, a cold wind appeared beside Yi Zichen. He glanced to the side and saw Bu Er reach out his hand and tilt his head as he looked at him. Jigsaw, what's going on? Ciel Lei is getting beaten up, and you guys aren't going to help? Yi Zichen did not rush to give it to him. He merely indicated towards Ciel Lei and the female ghost, who were running around in circles in the garden. She's amazing. You can't hit her. Oh, at that moment, the female ghost, who chased after Ciel Lei, stopped, then tilted her head and walked towards Yi Zichen. Bu Er, who stood beside him, quickly ran away. Yi Zichen also gulped and waved his hand with a dry smile. Just how amazing is this girl? She was actually able to beat Ciel Lei to the point that he couldn't fight back at all. However, when he thought about how he was immortal, what's more, he had a good reason for coming here to find this little ghost girl. Girl, you're Zhang Lingling, right? The ghost girl did not say anything. Instead, she tilted her head and continuously ran around him, while her nose twitched as she sniffed his scent. At that moment, Yi Zichen was as awkward as he could be, letting a ghost sniff his scent. This was truly his first time experiencing it. Just as he was about to say you, the ghost girl leaped onto him with a joyful expression. Chapter 233. Gong Mei, you've changed. The ghost girl's face was filled with joy. She hugged Yi Zichen's arm tightly and pressed her face against his shoulder, while her expression was filled with indescribable happiness. I missed you so much. I've been waiting for you for a long time. Stiff. Yi Zichen stood rooted to the spot, completely dumbfounded. What the hell? Why was it that he kept encountering such strange situations recently? Oh, Lu Qing, who was at the side, frowned and pouted. Boss Yi, you finally came. Ciel Lei looked dispirited, and his hair was as messy as a chicken's nest. He said weakly, I've found this lady for you. Please take her away quickly. Little Lei. The moment the ghost girl spoke, Ciel Lei immediately put on an apologetic smile, but continuously sent messages to Yi Zichen. Hurry up and take this grand inn away. Here, I'll return the transformer and puzzle to you. Yi Zichen handed the items over, then turned around and looked at the ghost woman, who was holding his arm tightly. Are you Zhang Lingling? Zhang Lingling. The female ghost tilted her head and rolled her eyes. I think my name is Zhang Lingling. What was going on? Did he lose his memories after losing his soul? Give me an accurate answer. This is very important to me. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes in annoyance. The ghost girl tapped her lips. All right, I am indeed called Zhang Lingling in this life. But why are you looking for me in this life? Lately, I've been running into these kinds of strange people. I rolled my eyes at Zhang Lingling's soul. Don't tell me I have to look for your previous life? When Yi Zichen left Ciel Lei's back garden, he was truly speechless towards Zhang Lingling's soul. How clingy. Gong Yun, did you come to the underworld to find me? Have you mistaken me for someone else? Yi Zichen gave her a speechless expression. I'm not some Gong Run. I'm Yu's friend. He told me to come and find you. Him, Zhang Lingling said in a disdainful tone. I'm really pitiful in this life. My father died early, and my uncle is an idiot. No matter how I think about it, Gong Yun is the one who treats me the best. With that, the ghost pressed her face against Yi Zichen's shoulder once again. I'm so mad. Lu Jing stomped her feet, bit her lips, and snorted coldly towards Yi Zichen, then flew into the dragon eye. Zhang Lingling pouted as she watched Lu Jing disappear. Gong Yun, who is that woman? Why is she always by your side? Beauty, are you kidding me? How many times have I told you that I'm not Gong Yun? Don't you understand human language? Gong Yun, I'm Bao Si. Don't you remember me? I'll take it that your soul is incomplete and you're spouting nonsense. Bao Si, why was this woman's paranoia even worse than his? Not only did she think that she was Bao Si, she even said that he was King Yu of Zhou. Wasn't he sick? King Yu of Zhou was a story from thousands of years ago. I really don't know why you care so much about this girl. Gong Yin. Zhang Lingling frowned unhappily. Gong Yin, isn't that girl your new lover? Back then, you toyed with the feudal vassals for my beacons, just to make me smile. Have you forgotten? How could I forget? Yi Zichen's expression suddenly turned gentle. He caressed Zhang Lingling's hair, then rolled his eyes. King, you played around with the feudal vassals. It's in our elementary school textbooks. Also, if you like to roleplay and pretend to be Bao Si, that's fine. Then can you make the character more vivid? Why did King Yu play around with the feudal vassals in order to make Bao Si smile? It's because Bao Si was unwilling to respond to him. If you really want to be Bao Si and think that I'm King Yu of Zhou, then don't be nice to me. Gong Yun, you've changed. Zhang Lingling shook her head sadly, while her tone carried an indescribable loneliness. Back then, you played around with the feudal vassals for my sake, causing the feudal vassals to be unwilling to believe you, causing the army to lose and me to be taken away. It was during that period that I truly understood how important I was to you. My heart was filled with grief. You, stop talking. I'm going to call the police. Yi Zichen sat on the sofa in the living room within a room with 2 bedrooms and 1 living room. Beside him was Zhang Lingling, whose face was filled with unhappiness. I found that soul for you. I can see it. You nodded non-committally and said, but this soul is a little strange. Strange, isn't it? I was almost tortured to death by her along the way. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes. Zhang Lingling bit her lips and twitched her mouth. Gee, again. Yi Zichen raised his hand to cover Zhang Lingling's mouth, then squinted his eyes towards you. Which room is Zhang Lingling in? You pointed, causing Yi Zichen to cover Zhang Lingling's mouth and walk into her room. On the bed, Zhang Lingling's face was still as pale as a piece of paper. Her tightly knitted eyebrows made one's heart ache. Hurry up and go in. Your main body is dying of discomfort. I'm not going back. Soul body Zhang Lingling twitched her mouth. This girl is an idiot. She's so stupidly cute. She doesn't have any of the elegance I had back then. Go in if you want. Yi Zichen cursed at her, then turned around to leave. Soul body Zhang Lingling pouted and pulled him back, then bit her lips. All right, don't get angry. All right, don't be angry. I'll go back, but I might not remember you anymore. Gong Yin, if you want to go in, then hurry up and go in. I'll go in, but you have to remember me. I'm Bao Si. With that, soul body Zhang Lingling returned to the center of Zhang Lingling's eyebrows. Within a chaotic ocean, a sobbing girl squatted at the center of the ocean while covering her eyes. Hey, poor little guy. Bao Si stood not far away from the girl with her arms crossed. The girl raised her head upon hearing the voice, looking confused. Seriously, why did I turn around and appear on you? Bao Si's face was filled with indescribable impatience. The girl looked up and walked over, causing her to trip over. Who are you? Who do you think I am? I'm you. Bao Si's face was filled with annoyance. Tell me, what else did you inherit apart from my face? How can a person live as stupidly as you? I'm not stupid. My daddy and uncle said that I'm cute. Zhang Lingling bit her lips and pouted. I don't like you. Get out. Hey, do you think I wanted to come in? Bao Si was speechless. If it wasn't because Gongsheng Gij told me to come in, do you think I would want to be with an idiot like you? I said, I'm not stupid. Zhang Lingling shouted. Bao Si smiled and twitched her mouth. Hee hee. Only that dad of yours doesn't think that you're stupid. Hee hee. Only that father of yours doesn't think you're stupid. But what happened to your father in the end? Daddy let the bad guys. Zhang Lingling pouted, then started to cry. Chapter 234. God of Fortune borrows cultivation. The world instantly became a lot quieter. Yi Zichen stretched lazily and left the bedroom, only to see that you had already knelt outside the door. Stand up and talk. Thank you so much. I owe you for this. Yu's gaze was filled with sincerity. Yi Zichen let him float up from the ground with a soft sigh, then exchanged 2 spring-returning pills from his WeChat and chucked them into Yu's hands. This is for you. It might be of help to Zhang Lingling when she wakes up. This is too valuable. You did not accept the pills. When you did not accept the pill, Yi Zichen pretended to be angry. I told you to accept it. so just accept it. Why are you so rude? Then thank you. You nodded gratefully. You nodded gratefully, while Yi Zichen smiled noncommittally. Then he crossed his legs, took out a cigarette from his pocket, and lit one for himself, then raised his eyebrows. How is it? Has there been any movement from Hua Da's side recently? His side. He squinted his eyes and raised his eyebrows. He doesn't seem to be doing anything recently, but I did hear some news about you when I was outside his door. About me? Yi Zichen's expression froze. Then he asked with interest, "What did you hear?" After returning home from Yu's place, Yi Zichen's face carried a faintly discernible mocking expression. This brat Huida is truly amazing. I thought that he couldn't feed the Food and Drug Administration enough, but it turns out that he was the one behind it. He wanted Xiao Yumei to beg him. He probably never would have thought that the #1 prince of Bingcheng had a stake in Xiao Yumei's medical company. Bossy. Third Fatty Jean ran over with a plate of fruits. Yi Zichen glanced at him. It seems like he got fatter again. Say, Fatty, it's not good for you to be here like a lord every day. Yi Zichen picked up an apple from the plate and took a bite. Yi Zichen picked up an apple from the plate and took a bite. It's not that I'm scolding you, but look at the flesh on your body. Boss, what do you think I should do? You. Ding dong. The phone on the tea table vibrated for some reason. Third Fatty Jean picked it up and took a look. Boss, the God of Fortune mentioned you in the group. God of Fortune? Give me the phone. Yi Zichen received the phone that Third Fatty Jean handed over and opened WeChat. Not the Heavenly Courts group. It was the red packet server that he created. God of Fortune. Idealism. God of Fortune. Idealism. God of Fortune. Idealism. Canopy Marshal. God of Fortune. It would be hard for you to find the Sky Sovereign. Erling Shun, yeah, right. What's more, you're a rich person. Do you still need to borrow from my brother? God of Fortune. What do you know? I've invested all my cultivation experience into directional investments. I'm in a critical period right now, so I can't take it out. Yulao, look for me, 3% interest. Yi Zichen was completely confused as he looked at the messages in the group. Why does it feel like the God of Fortune wants to borrow money from loan sharks? The God of Fortune borrowed from usury. How is this possible? No matter the time, there would always be many worshippers to the God of Fortune. It could be said that the God of Fortune was an evergreen tree in the heavenly court, especially when he was in charge of wealth. He didn't look like someone who lacked money. Ahem, the God of Fortune has also joined my group. Look at the name of the group. This is the Red Envelope server. You have to give out red envelopes when you join the group. Canopy Marshal. Sky Sovereign. How have you been with Chong lately? Erlang Shun. Chong, Yi announced her relationship. Bro, awesome. Old Lord Taishang, F***CK. When did Old Lord Taishang enter this group? Old Lord Taishang, stop snorting here. Enter the group and give out red envelopes. Ding dong. At that moment, a huge red envelope appeared on the screen. Yi Zichen quickly clicked it. You received the God of Fortune's red envelope. You received the Rolling Wealth Title X1. Rolling Wealth. Title the wearer's luck of wealth +1. It didn't say anything useful, but 1 luck of wealth was better than nothing. Withdraw. Would you like to equip the Rolling Wealth title? Yes. Ding dong. You have a Rolling Wealth title. The moment the system prompted Yi Zichen to equip it, he subconsciously looked up. It doesn't seem like it's like games, where there's a title above his head. Canopy Marshal. The God of Fortune really can't do it anymore. Erlang Shun. 3 gold ingots. The God of Fortune is so embarrassing. God of Fortune. Only idealism. Sky Sovereign. I have something to discuss with you. Not long later, the God of Fortune sent a friend request over. Yi Zichen clicked accept without thinking too much about it. Sky Sovereign. The God of Fortune's profile picture was pretty much the same as the God of Fortune we put up during the New Year. He wore a red robe with gold ingots flying around him. Yi Zichen looked at the intimacy level out of habit. 200. Trustworthy. This was the first time Yi Zichen had seen someone with such a high initial intimacy level. What business does the God of Fortune have with this sovereign? Sky Sovereign, I won't beat around the bush with you. I want to borrow some cultivation experience from you. The god of fortune borrowing cultivation experience would definitely cause an uproar in the heavenly court if word got out. Even Yizichin was stunned for a while. You said you want to borrow cultivation experience from me? Yes. Although it was a bit embarrassing for the god of fortune to borrow cultivation experience from someone, the god of fortune still replied with a firm gaze. Recently, Sky Sovereign's business has been very good in the heavenly court. You definitely have quite a bit of cultivation experience on hand. If you don't use it, then it would be a waste to keep it. How about you give it to this little deity? This little deity can help Celestial Sovereign do some financial investments. Why does this make me feel like a bank clerk? I think about it. This god of fortune is actually right. The secret scriptures in the treasure shop require at least 1,000,000 cultivation experience to exchange. Recently, Xiao Yumei's company has not been on the right track. Even if she needs pills, several tens of thousands of cultivation experience is enough to support her for a long time. Then I still have several 100,000 cultivation experience on hand. I can lend you 200,000 cultivation experience, but I want to know, what can I get in return? 200,000. The god of fortune, who held the phone, frowned. He had thought that Sky Sovereign would need at least 1,000,000. However, even a mosquito's leg is meat. Sky Sovereign, I can help you manage your finances and double your cultivation experience. He was really a bank clerk, wasn't he? Yizichin rolled his eyes speechlessly, then laughed. Don't worry. I don't need my cultivation experience to double. Then cultivation experience isn't that important to this sovereign. It's fine even if I give it to you. Is that true? However, the god of fortune quickly replied. What do you need me to pay? Smart. Yizichin snapped his fingers, then smiled. As the god of fortune, you should be able to control the fortune of mortal families, right? Of course. The god of fortune nodded with certainty. The prosperity of the mortal clans depends entirely on my thoughts. Great. Yizichin licked his lips with a smile. Chapter 235. Three-stripe, clear spirit returning heavenly pill. This money god looked hesitant when he saw the news. He had some impression of the whole family. The larger financial groups and families in the modern world would also pay tribute to them. If he were to purposely obstruct Hua's fortune, it would disappoint the recipient. Why does the Sky Sovereign want me to touch the Hua family? I have a grudge against the Hua family. How about I explain it this way? You might not know this, but because the Hua family has a bit of money, they have committed many crimes, and even hired assassins to kill me. There's such a thing. The god of fortune was stunned. This Hua family was really daring. They actually dared to touch a celestial venerable. Sky Sovereign, you can rest assured. I will definitely make the Hua family pay the price they deserve. Actually, the god of fortune was just giving him a psychological hint and giving him a way out of this embarrassing situation. Between worshippers and 200,000 cultivation experience, he chose 200,000 cultivation experience. Then I'll leave it to you. The moment Yizichin sent the message, he saw the god of fortune speak in the group. God of fortune, Taishang Laojun Erlang Shun, Tianpeng Marshal Yu Lao. Fight me if you're not convinced. Erlang Shun, oh? You still dare to play? Idealism, brother. Did you lend him money? Canopy Marshal. This marshal is ready to fight at any time. Old Lord Taishang. If Yu Lao is here, this old man will play with you youngsters. Yizichin, Old Lord Taishang. Give out the red packet first before you play. Didn't you see that the god of fortune sent one just now? Why didn't I see your red packet? Old Lord Taishang. Why should I post it just because you tell me to? Who do you think you are? The stubborn old man was still brooding over Yizichin kicking him. What's more, he had only entered the group to make friends and didn't know who the group owner was. Why should I? Who did he think he was? I'm the group leader. What do you have to say that? Who do you think I am? This stubborn old man had quite a temper. After seeing the message in the group, Yu Lao put away his phone and raised his eyebrows at Yu Lao, who was sitting not far away from him. This group belongs to John Doe. Why didn't you tell me? Didn't you say that this is a poker group? This is indeed a mahjong friend group. I didn't lie to you. Yu Lao stroked his beard and said, Aren't the people in this group all playing Fight the Landlord? However, this group was indeed created by Heavenly Lord Nameless. Then let's create a new group. I don't want to be in the same group as him. Not good enough. Yu Lao shook his head and said, Canopy Marshal and Erlang Shun are both on good terms with Sky, Sovereign Nameless. God of Fortune also just borrowed cultivation from Sky Sovereign. I'm also Sky Sovereign spokesperson. Do you think old Lord Taishang's expression stiffened? But it was obvious from his expression. He was in a bad mood. Yu Lao let out a long sigh and patted his old friend. You're just too stubborn, you old geezer. I also understand why the Celestial Sovereign kicked you back then. The Celestial Venerable said that you took advantage of him. So he came to you to buy medicinal pills, and you raised the price? The price has gone up. Old Lord Taishang nodded. But I didn't raise the price by too much. My celestial-grade medicinal pills only cost him 1,000 cultivation experience. Don't you know Sky Sovereign's personality? How could he not get angry when you took advantage of him? I feel like if you really can't do it, then just give in. We're all colleagues in the heavenly court. There's no need to make things so tense. Ding dong. Your intimacy level with old Lord Taishang increased by 100. Current intimacy level, friendly. Ding dong. Old Lord Taishang has sent you a friend request. Verification message. Give each other a way out and pretend like nothing happened. Yi Zichen was completely shocked when he saw that. This was definitely a great thing for him. He was just worrying about how to get on good terms with old Lord Taishang. But this geezer actually took the initiative to make peace. Ding dong. Yu Lao, Sky Sovereign, I chatted with old Lord Taishang just now. I feel like you guys can bury the hatchet. So it was Yu Lao who did it. Not bad. There's a serious matter. Since Yu Lao said that, then I'll give you face. The moment Yi Zichen sent the message, he instantly accepted old Lord Taishang's friend request. Ding dong. The moment the friend request was accepted, old Lord Taishang sent him a red packet. Old Lord Taishang. This old man hasn't had the chance to congratulate Sky, Sovereign, and Chang'e. This is just a small gift. It's nothing much. He even sent a red packet. Yi Zichen quickly clicked open the red packet. You received old Lord Taishang's red packet. 3-stripe, soul-clearing, heaven-returning pill X1. Yi Zichen shuddered. Yi Zichen nearly chucked the phone in his hand. Isn't this the final pill for reviving Lu Qing? 3-stripe, soul-clearing, heaven-returning pill. Celestial grade, level 9 pill. The work of old Lord Taishang's blood, sweat, and tears. Extracted the essence of heaven and earth. Refined by old Lord Taishang personally for 49 days. Effect, a necessary item for creating a celestial body. Thank you, old Lord Taishang. Yi Zichen really didn't know what words he could use to express his gratitude. He never would have thought that old Lord Taishang would actually send this pill to him. His luck was way too good. Sky Sovereign is too courteous. A few days ago, True Lord Erlang suddenly said that he wanted to win this pill from me. No matter how I thought about it, only Sky Sovereign needs this pill. People truly get smarter as they get older. They actually guessed it so easily. But why was he so bad at Fight the Landlord? Thank you so much, old lord. Sky Sovereign is too courteous. All right, the God of Fortune is calling me to play Fight the Landlord again. Let's catch up when we have time. All right. Yi Zichen exited the chat, then hurriedly ran to the bedroom. King Chujiang had said that he needed a 1,000-year-old dragon eye, a 3-stripe, soul-clearing, heaven-returning pill, a 9-heart lotus root, and the rootless water that Soul Pearly Yuan had soaked in for 49 days. Now that he had everything, the only thing left was that the rootless water did not soak for long enough. King Chujiang. Ding dong. King Chujiang's phone vibrated as he sat in the hall of the Underworld King, reading through the reports that the judges sent over recently. He put down the brush in his hand and picked up his phone. Why did the person he didn't want to see the most come over again? Yi Zichen could be said to be the customer the 10 Yama Kings of the Underworld didn't want to see after the monkey. Master, I'm here. Let me ask you a question. The method of revival that you told me back then, if the rootless water that Soul Pearl Yuan soaked in isn't enough, will it affect the success rate of revival? Of course it will, King Chujiang replied patiently. None of those treasures can be missing, and the time can only be more, not less. Otherwise, wait. What did that master say just now? King Chujiang quickly scrolled up the message and looked at the contents. At that moment, Yi Zichen was troubled by King Chujiang's message. It seems like I have to let Soul Pearly Yuan soak for 2 more days in order to revive Lu Jing. Right at this moment, King Chujiang sent another message over. Master, why you gathered all of the Soul Pearly Yuan? Nonsense, why would I find you if I didn't gather all of them? Yi Zichen rolled his eyes. All right, I'll contact you after I'm done soaking. Zoom. King Chujiang felt a chill down his spine. Impossible. It was impossible for normal people to gather all of the Soul Pearly Yuan. Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva had already said, unless. Chapter 236. Zhang Junbao and Gua Xiang, the 10 Yama kings of the underworld, formed a circle, their expression solemn. King Chujiang, are you sure that expert has gathered all of the Soul Pearly Yuan, and that the Soul Pearly Yuan has always been in his possession? The one who spoke was the eldest of the 10 Yama kings, King Qingguang. Yes, I'm sure. King Chujiang solemnly nodded his head. King Yinluo, who was at the side, sucked in a breath of cold air. Back then, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva said that the Soul Pearly Yuan was already a spiritual object, and that only the Yellow Emperor could gather all of it. Doesn't that mean that the person who's been dealing with the underworld is the Yellow Emperor? I thought of this possibility, and that's why I called all of you here. King Chujiang's face was covered in a solemn expression as he said, Big brother, what should we do? I'm going to look for Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. As for the identity of that expert, don't mention it to anyone. The itinerant immortals have no great enmity with the underworld. If the expert really is the reincarnation of a Yellow Emperor, then we can befriend the itinerant immortals in advance and rope them in. Understood. Thanks to Su Yiyun's influence, Xiao Yumei's medical company was approved and officially established. On the day of the company's establishment, they did not invite people from all walks of life to a banquet with great fanfare. This pharmaceutical company had taken the route of not being exposed to the public in the early stages. Because there are some prerequisites for exchanging for this pill, I can exchange for 200 now. Is that enough? Yi Zichen piled up 200 pills on his desk. That's enough. Don't underestimate these 200 pills. Xiao Yumei picked up a jade bottle from the table and placed it on her palm. Do you know how much of our medicine can be diluted from this pill? How much? 1,000. Xiao Yumei raised a finger and smiled. And this is considering the degree of dilution that has the effect of rapid recovery. Otherwise, it's possible to dilute it to 10,000. Yi Zichen was momentarily stunned. He didn't have much of an understanding of all that, but from the looks of it, it seems to be pretty amazing. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows when he sat down on the sofa in the office. That Huda hasn't harassed you recently, right? Huda? Xiao Yumei was stunned. She shook her head. I haven't seen him since then. That's good. Yi Zichen pursed his lips and smiled, but little did he know, in a smoke-filled room, the curtains were tightly drawn and there was no light at all. The living room was a mess, and as long as you were in it, you would feel an indescribable sense of oppression. The expensive mobile phone was smashed to pieces. At the same time, the door of the room was pushed open, and there was a glimmer of light in the dark room. Young master, you can't do this. An old man in butler attire walked in with a walking stick in his hand. Who was sitting on the sofa, had red eyes. He put out a cigarette in the ashtray and frowned. What happened? I'm here to tell you that the Xiao family's third daughter's medical company has been established. The medical company has not been suppressed. What is that Fu doing? He can't even handle such a small matter. Huda roared like a wild beast. The old butler frowned slightly, but still replied calmly, The Su family of Bingchang has appeared. Bang. Huda punched the sofa hard and stood up from the sofa with clenched teeth. The Su family. That bitch, Xiao Yumei. Even after leaving the Xiao family, she's still so good. Young master, there's one more thing. I know. Huda wiped his dark purple lips with his finger. Huda wiped his purple lips and said, Forget about Yumei's medical company for now. Let's return to the capital first. All right, I'll go and prepare the return tickets right now. The old butler left the room. Not long later, The sound of something being smashed sounded out from the room. He, who stood outside the door, raised the corner of his mouth, while a hint of disdain surfaced on his warm face. Idiot! Dong dong dong. A knock sounded out from outside the office. Xiao Yumei, who was with Yi Zichen, quickly separated from him and coughed. Come in. Li Shuang walked in from outside. When she saw Yi Zichen, who had not tidied up his clothes, and Xiao Yumei, whose face was slightly red, Meijia, Xiao Yumei glared at Yi Zichen fiercely when she noticed the awkwardness on Li Shuang's face. What is it? It's like this. There's a girl who calls herself director, Ye's classmate outside. She said she's called Lulu. Yi Zichen was instantly stunned. Why did she come? Hurry up and take a look. Lulu, it seems to be a new name. Xiao Yumei revealed a playful expression. Yi Zichen laughed dryly, then stood up from the sofa. I'll go over and take a look. Li Shuang, who was standing at the door, was about to take him over. However, Xiao Yumei, who was in the office, twitched her mouth with a smile. Shuang, don't go over. Shuang, don't go over. Aren't you delaying our chairman Ye's business? Xiao Yumei especially bit down on the proper business at the end. Yi Zichen, who was walking out, paused, then quickly ran towards the entrance of the medical company. In the lobby of the medical company, Lulu wore a rather ancient-styled blue and pink dress, while a belt around her waist made her figure seem extremely alluring. Her eye-catching red hair had also turned back to its normal black color. Hey, big guy, Lulu smiled sweetly. Yi Zichen, who had wanted to ask her why she came here with a helpless expression, froze on the spot. This scene was extremely familiar. Guixiang, wait for me. A young man in a blue shirt, who held a blue-covered book, ran out from Shaolin Temple. What? The girl frowned as she held onto a white horse. Look, the young man opened the secret scripture in his hands with a chuckle. The 3 words bedroom technique were extremely eye-catching. I stole this from eldest senior brother. Do you want to practice it with me? Creak. The girl blushed, then punched the young man's head. Zhang Junbao, you're so shameless. Why did you hit me? If you don't want to practice it, then don't. The young man twitched his mouth, then rubbed his aching head, then stuffed the secret scripture into his clothes. Not long later, the young man's face lit up with joy once again as he walked over to the girl's side. Xiang, I like you so much. Ugh. The girl clenched her fist once again. Die. Slap. She punched the young man, causing him to have a panda eye, then leaped onto the white horse. Zhang Junbao, learn more from the abbot when you have time. The pugilistic world is in turmoil right now. You can only roam the pugilistic world with true ability. I'm not going to care about you. With that, the girl slowly rode away on her white horse. The young man, who stood in place, was stunned for a long time, then revealed a joyful expression. Guixiang, I asked my master just now. He said that I'm a layman disciple, so I can get married. When I become famous, how about you marry me and become my wife? We'll talk about it after you become famous. Become famous. Yi Zichen looked at Lulu in front of him in shock, then revealed a smile similar to the young man in his memories. Chapter 237. He reincarnated more than once. Oh, you remember a bit, big guy. Lulu's face was filled with joy as she grabbed Yi Zichen's arm excitedly. Then did you remember the later, I'm dreaming again? Yi Zichen rubbed his head, then subconsciously glanced at his arm. F***CK. What the hell? What the hell is this sick deer beside me? Yi Zichen quickly retracted his hand and took a few steps back. What kind of monster are you? I'm telling you, my bro is the great sage equaling heaven, Sun Wukong. Just as he was speaking, the sick deer walked towards him. Stand there and don't move. If you take another step forward, then I'm going to call my bro. Do you know that I fought the white bone spirit thrice? My bro isn't going to spoil you. Yi Zichen, what are you talking about? I'm Lulu. I know you're a deer. No need to emphasize it. Oh, wait. She said she's Lulu? Yi Zichen blinked. No matter how he looked at her, she was a sick deer. Shouldn't Lulu be a human? He subconsciously looked outside the hall. Various colored underwear were revealed in front of him. F***CK. The fiery eyes of truth activated. Yi Zichen quickly deactivated the fiery eyes of truth, then looked at the sick deer in front of him. It was indeed Lulu. You just said that I'm a monster. I'm so sad. Lulu frowned. Yi Zichen licked his lips and slowly moved closer to her, then asked in a testing manner. At the same time, he asked in a testing manner, "Are you a monster? Why do you ask like that?" Lulu tilted her head in curiosity. After a long while, Yi Zichen finally spoke up. "I saw that you were a cicadere just now." "Ah, you can see my true form?" Lulu's exclamation was not soft at all, causing many employees to subconsciously look over. Seeing that, Yi Zichen quickly ran over, covered her mouth, and dragged her out of the company. Lulu, who covered her mouth, cried out. In order to prevent the surrounding people from thinking that he was a bad person, Yi Zichen released his hand, then put his finger by his mouth. "Softer, the people here are all mortals. What true form? Got it. Why can you see my original body? Shouldn't your reincarnation be a normal person? A month ago, I might have been an ordinary person, but now, I don't even know if I'm human." Yi Zichen rolled his eyes in annoyance, then glanced at Lulu. "What are you doing here? Don't tell me you're here to look for me. Even Su Yin and the others don't know this place." Lulu's face revealed a hint of pride when she heard that. She tapped her little nose with her finger. "I followed your scent to find you. Are you born in the year of the dog? Your nose is so good." Yi Zichen was speechless. "He found me by smell? Even my family's Lil White can barely find me by smell." "Don't worry about it so much. I just need to be able to find you." The corners of Lulu's mouth curled up slightly. "All right, did you remember something just now?" "What did I remember?" "I just had a weird dream." "It's weird. I've been having these weird dreams recently." Yi Zichen laughed in self-mockery. "I feel like I need to go to the hospital to get checked out when I have time." Recently, Yi Zichen truly felt that these weird dreams were becoming more and more frequent. Previously, he would only dream about it when he was sleeping, but now he would dream about it occasionally during the day. Now he would dream about it almost every day. Furthermore, the dreams were always weird. Things like King Zhou of Shang, Xiangyu, he seemed to have played all sorts of roles in his dreams. The corners of Lulu's mouth curled up as a meaningful smile appeared in her eyes. "You're not dreaming. You've experienced all of this with your own eyes." "What?" "Zoom." Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows in shock as he looked at Lulu, who was smiling sweetly on the side. "Actually, you should know more or less in your heart. It's just that you can't explain it, and you can't tell others, so you can only use your dreams to numb yourself, right?" Lulu's words truly hit the nail on the head. There would always be some random scenes appearing in his mind. It was fine if it happened once or twice, but it was a bit abnormal if it happened 8 or 10 times. However, he really couldn't explain it in his heart, so he could only use words like daydreaming and delusions to numb himself. Then what exactly is all of this for? Yi Zichen let out a long sigh. Lulu pursed her lips with a smile. "Didn't I tell you just now? You experienced everything yourself." With that, she looked up at Yi Zichen's increasingly stiff face with a smile. "Didn't you ask me yesterday?" "Yesterday, you asked me if people really have a past life." "Of course they do." "Then why have I never had this kind of dream before?" Yi Zichen's eyes were filled with confusion and confusion. Lulu replied irresponsibly. "How would I know? Normally, people wouldn't remember their past life's memories after reincarnating, but it doesn't mean that they won't remember everything. However, it did not mean that he would not remember everything. For example, important people and important scenes from his past life might awaken some of his past life's memories. For example, you call me Guxiang just now. It seems like your memories are slowly awakening." He was dumbfounded. This was way too supernatural. If he said that he had experienced it before, then wouldn't that mean that he was Junbao Zhang in his previous life? Who was Zhang Junbao? He was the founder of the Wu-Tang faction, Zhang Sanfeng, the great Master Zhang. Smile. Yi Zichen, who had a look of confusion, suddenly laughed, then grinned at Lulu. "I'm the reincarnation of Zhang Sanfeng. Holy sh*T, that's awesome." Pa Lulu couldn't help but facepalm and sigh when she saw Yi Zichen's silly look. Sure enough, it was the same person, exactly the same as in his previous life. That's not right. Yi Zichen, who was immersed in his thoughts of being the reincarnation of Zhang Sanfeng, suddenly reacted. Guo Xiang is human, right? You don't seem to be human. None of your business. Lulu rolled her eyes at Yi Zichen, then shouted. Lord Jixin, this guy always asks some questions that others can't answer. Gxin, Yi Zichen, you ask too many questions. It seems like you don't want to get your bento box. Yi Zichen, Lord, I was wrong. I'll act properly. Gxin, all right, the lighting technician is getting ready for our next scene. I really didn't expect that I'm actually the reincarnation of Zhang Sanfeng. Yi Zichen smiled brightly. A smile blossomed on Yi Zichen's face. Although he still couldn't accept all of this, it was always good to be optimistic. He wasn't someone who liked to be stubborn, so he decided to just go with the flow. Actually, I know a secret about you, Lulu suddenly said with a mysterious look. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. What secret? He was going all out, so he might as well tell her everything he needed to know. That way, he wouldn't be confused in the future.